Blacksburg is alive tonight in anticipation of perhaps derailing the #1 team in the land. Kyle Singler broke out of a shooting slump in his last game, dropping 28 on Temple. And tonight, Singler and his running mate Nolan Smith, the ACC's leading scorer, brings Mike Krzyzewski's team into Cassell Coliseum, where the guy right behind Smith on the ACC scoring list is Malcolm Delaney. He's 4th all-time in Virginia Tech in scoring, and the man who is the active leader in double-doubles in the ACC, Jeff Allen, will do his work inside. Virginia Tech needing a resume win. #1 Duke's in the house, so's game day.
Welcome to College Game Day, driven by State Farm.
There are 9,847 seats in Cassell Coliseum, and by game time, every one of them will be full. In each of the last 2 weeks, #1 has gone down, both times on the road. Will it beat Duke tonight against Virginia Tech? The Hokies in desperate need of a resume-building win, and the Maroon Monsoon will be here and ready to go. Glad to have you with us on College Game Day, alongside Hubert Davis, Digger Phelps, Bob Knight, and Jay Billis. I am merely Reese Davis. What a great day of games we had, including the Mountain West showdown between Brigham Young and San Diego State. BYU won the first meeting between the two in Provo, and here they come with the two matchups. The nation's leading scorer, Jimmer Fredette. The Aztecs in front of the crowd they call the show. Look at Jimmer take on the double team, Hubert.
Well, Jimmer Fredette can handle with both hands. He can score from anywhere, pick and roll situation, still has the ability to get into the lane and score.
And BYU moving the ball effectively. Plenty of range, Digger.
Plenty of range for him. Yeah, he goes 8 for 23. But the key, the rest of the team, 19 for 35. That's the balance they have.
Now, that might have been half a step out of his range. Billy White going the other way, Jay.
Well, Billy White is a terrific player for San Diego State. Gives them what they need, but BYU just shut down DJ Gay. That was a big factor in this game.
Fredette had 4 turnovers on the day. Turnovers helped San Diego State get back in it. They're within 3 after White finishes it up. And San Diego State's crowd hoping to pull off the upset. Second half, Kawhi Leonard. Tough runner. He had 17 and 13. Later in the second, here comes Fredette. Coach.
Well, I think you're going to see the kid really use his strength in that move where he just busted 2 guys and went right through them and still got the bucket.
Cougars up by 8. Jimmer working. He fouls Malcolm Thomas. That was Fredette's 4th personal foul. Dave Rose talks to him. He's a veteran. Trust him to stay in the game. BYU up by 9. And Fredette, who had 9 assists on the day, fires a dangerous pass. But you wind up with Charles Abuo, with all due respect to Stuart Scott. Abu, yeah. He had 4 threes on the day. BYU hit 14. And then Jimmer would fight off the double team, find Brandon Davies for the dunk. 25 points, 9 assists. And BYU gets the win on the road. They sweep San Diego State. They're on top in the Mountain West and perhaps in control for a #1 seed. Who would have thought that?
I think they are on track for a #1 seed, but they've got to win their tournament to get it.
Andy Katz was on the scene in the Viejas Center. The Cougars get the win. He's with Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer, the atmosphere at Viejas was off the charts. You've done this now, though, at Utah, Colorado State, UNLV. What is the significance of winning a road game like this?
It's huge. It's huge for everything. You know, our goal is to win the Mountain West Conference Championship, you know, a regular season. That's our goal right now, and this gives us a leg up on it, and also give us a leg up on, you know, other things down the road, NCAA tournament and Mountain West Conference things. But it was a great environment. We knew that it was going to be like this, and we were ready for it, and I was just glad that we were able to play well and get a win.
How much confidence do you have in your teammates? You had 25, but you had 9 assists feeding Jackson Emery, Charles Abuo.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I know that they can make shots, and tonight they were especially, you know, sticking those shots. And the big thing is that they were really double teaming me a lot, especially really out high. And I was just trying to find my teammates, and they were getting wide open shots. And I know that my teammates are, you know, good enough to hit those shots, and you know that's what happened.
You've swept San Diego State. That's their only 2 losses. If you guys keep winning in the next 2 weeks, how deserving is BYU of a #1 seed?
You know, I think we could be right there in the running. You know, it just depends on how these other teams are playing in front of us. You know, I don't know if they don't lose. I don't know if we get one or not. But, you know, I think that we deserve to at least be in the conversation. We've had a great year, only 2 losses. You know, San Diego State on the road and at home is great wins. We've beat some top 25 teams other than that. So it's been great. And, you know, hopefully we'll at least get some consideration.
Well, congratulations on another great game.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
Let's go back to you.
Oh, Andy saw a good one. We'll go next level on Jimmer Fredette. And Hubert talked about this on game day this morning. Jimmer struggled when Billy White was guarding him, Hubert.
Well, I thought San Diego State played great defense against Jimmer Fredette. You talked about Billy White, but also Kawhi Leonard took a shot at him. They put length on him, but Jimmer still scored 25 points on 23 shots, and he also had 9 assists. It just shows what a great player he is.
It also shows that he's got teammates. For Noah Hartsock to step forward and play as well as he did in Abuo, he's got a good team behind him.
Number 5, Texas on the road against Colorado. It's 40-21. Longhorns. Barnes team's rolling. Gary Johnson, they're going to find him down the court. He'd get the and one, and the Horns would go up by 22. This is just one of those quick highlights we show because number 5 goes on the road and destroys somebody, right, Digger?
Yeah, 4 left in the first half. They are up 22 points, but there is a second half.
And the second half, it was Alec Burks. Watch him come off the screen.
He makes this happen. They go on a binge in the second half where they go 18 for 31, shoot 58%. No Texas defense, which they've been known for up to this point of this season.
On the inside, Burks gets the stuff. It's a 12-point game, and Coach Burks comes again and knocks down the pull-up jump shot.
Well, you know, a lot of times a team that is supposed to be so much better than another team thinks the game's over at the halftime, and that's what happened here. Now, Colorado did a lot of good things, particularly their 2 best scorers, but they were able to get a lot of things that Texas gave up.
It's an 8-point game that had been cut to 5. Burks, who was a wrecking crew, grabbed the loose ball. He had 33 and 10. It's a 3-point game. It's a 2-point game. Colorado down. Levi Knutson for 3. 21 and 3 rebounds for him, and Colorado all the way, and they have the lead. Knutson again, Jake.
Well, Knutson got a lot of shots from the same spot that he caught the ball, and Texas did not guard in the first half or in the second.
Higgins would pass out. Knutson would find Andre Roberson, and Colorado with the stunner, 91-89. Tad Boyle enjoying the win.
Coach, how do you explain this?
I don't know how you do, especially the way we played in the first half. I'll tell you what, we came out in the second half and competed the way we want to play. And my hat's off to our team. They battled back from 15 down. That's not easy to do against a good team like this.
Keep fighting. You know, we keep fighting. We know we're a tough team, so we'll come back. So that's all we did, and we came back and won.
Played without fear. They didn't play to lose, and Alec Burks got us going. He's a special player when he gets it going. You saw what he did against Missouri here earlier in the year. But he got us going, and then Levi Knutson, Corey Higgins, we all got in the flow. We control what we can control. We got to beat Iowa State Wednesday night. Otherwise, it negates this win. So we got to take care of our business. I'm not a politicker.
Colorado all of a sudden trying to make a move toward that bubble. Second half, the Texas defense got cut up, Coach.
Well, you know, Reese, if you look at the overall stats in terms of minutes played, with about 3/4 of the game gone, both teams had scored 60 points. In the last quarter of the game, each team scored 30 points, which means it's going to be 122 to 121 in the final. And that's just not the way Texas plays. And it really isn't the way Colorado plays either.
I thought Colorado defensively in that second half. Texas goes 10 for 34, shoots 29.4%. Credit Colorado's defense, but that big run in the second half, it was 37-17 when they're up 70-65 with 6.5 left. They just came out with that intensity, both ends of the floor, and now they're 7-7. Still got a shot at an at-large in the Big 12.
So you have 2 teams in the top 5 go down on Saturday. Texas most unexpected. San Diego State was the other. Villanova was at home against red-hot St. John's, but St. John's and Dwight Hardy, he's been much better in February, averaging about 24 points per game. But they'd struggled on the road, but they did not struggle in this game. Malik Booth found Hardy. He finished with reverse, and check this one out. Hardy knocks down the long three-pointer, Jay.
Well, Hardy has been absolutely on fire. He's a shot maker, can get his own, and he can also get it going to the basket with nice floaters. I mean, this one was incredible.
St. John's built the 8-point lead, worthy of another look. Big East Player of the Year in your mind right now?
Yeah, I think he really is. He's done a great job. But also credit DJ Kennedy, who stepped up his game. He had 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals.
And every time Villanova got close, it would seem that Hardy would have the answer. Corey Stokes tried to keep Nova in it. He had 6 triples and 20 points. Malik Waynes had 19. He draws the and one. And now momentum really seemed to be going with the Wildcats as Waynes hit the tough shot inside. On that play, Justin Burrell fouls out. Nova down 1, but they couldn't stop Hardy. Oh, fade, fire, and fill it up. A career high, 34 points. As St. John's goes on the road. They had those big 5 wins against ranked opponents in Madison Square Garden. Now they have one on the road, and they are soaring up the charts in terms of seeding for Steve Lavin and the Red Storm in the 81-68 victory. Now, Dwight Hardy, he pushed that average in the month of February up to 25 points per game, and he's shooting nearly 49% from 3 right now and 80% from the free throw line. And Dwight Hardy making a case for himself for Player of the Year, making a case for St. John's to be a force in the tournament.
Of late, you've been awfully hot. Your teammates seem to be going to you with regularity.
I mean, I'm just coming out with a beautiful mindset, being aggressive. I know my team depends on me to put up numbers and help us get a win, and I'm just so happy right now, and I just want to continue it.
Well, one of the things that I've been impressed with is the judgment out there on the floor. You haven't forced anything. You've recognized mismatches. You know, what is it about being able to come out here as a senior and understand this game?
I just know there's no need to force any shots. You know, Coach Ladd put in a great offense, so if I just take my time and give what the defense gives me, I just get any shot I want. I'm on a shooting streak right now, and I just want to keep it up.
Well, you guys now are 11-5 in the Big East, and, you know, really starting to gain a foothold for one of those 4 bye spots. Did you ever think this would be the case?
You know, we're ahead of schedule in terms of the number of victories over the top half of the league. I mean, the reality is the last decade, there's that aristocracy at the top, and obviously we're in the middle of those standings trying to fight our way up the ladder and keep putting hammer to rock and hope someday to turn the corner like these programs, Villanova, Syracuse, and UConn. So we know who we are. You know, we're humble and hardworking, and naturally our goals change, our objectives, our aspirations change as we continue to win games, because exponentially things open up for us. But we got to stay with the daily incremental progress. We can't get too carried away with ourselves.
Well, you know, Lavin has given up the tie. He says breath, oxygen, most important for clarity. Villanova might be on a respirator right now. Last 12 games, they're just 5-7. Digger said on College Game Day this morning, very good opportunity for Villanova to finish out the regular season, losing 9 of their last 14 Big East games. There go to Notre Dame to have Pittsburgh later on this week as they try to get things turned around with this Villanova team that has had to battle some injuries. But St. John's is the story in the Big East right now. How does it impact the way you think about them, Digger, now that they've done it on the road, too?
Well, they've done it on the road. It started, let's go back last week. They won a game at Cincinnati by 2 and then beat up on Marquette. So they had confidence getting it done on the road. So going down and play at Villanova today, no problem, because this game came down. The end of the game, Villanova slumped. St. John scores 16 of the last 20 points of the game. And you got to credit the fact they got 2 games left at Seton Hall, home against South Florida. If they end up playing Thursday in the quarterfinals by getting that 2-round bye, believe me, that Garden's going to be rocking in the Big East tournament. That's their focus next week.
You know, when I look at St. John's, one, obviously Dwight Hardy is playing great. Number 2 is they have a lot of playmakers offensively on the wing, so much so that teams can't match up with them, play man-to-man. They're having to play zone. The problem is right now they're shooting the ball well from the outside. First 22 games of the season, St. John's as a team was shooting 31% from 3. The last six games that they've won, they're shooting 41% from 3. So they're defending, they can drive to the hoop, and now they're knocking down their perimeter jump shot. very tough team playing great in the Big East right now.
Well, you know, Jimmer Fredette didn't necessarily knock down as many jump shots as we've seen customarily. And in a day in which several teams made statements, Jay, did BYU really put themselves in position, finish strong, and get a #1 seed in the tournament?
Well, they're there for it, and to be in the conversation as you head into the last week of the season is a big deal. But I think what they really showed more than anything is that they're not a one-man team. And this time of year, I'm looking at teams that are getting better. And, you know, we talked about St. John's. St. John's is improving. They're getting better as we head toward the finish line. I think BYU is one of those teams. Now, some people, the naysayers, will say they haven't played anybody. I don't believe that. I think they have played a good schedule. They played well against it. But they're getting better. Guys like Noah Hartsock are getting better. Charles Abuo can step forward. That's a full, and Brandon Davies is getting better, even though he didn't have one of his better games today against San Diego State. I think that's a team that's for real.
I think this, when you look at BYU, you talk about Jimmer. He goes 8 for 23. Here's what this team did, even though he's going 8 for 23, and he had 9 assists. The rest of the team shoots 19 for 35. I'm telling you, this is a Final 8 team. Send them west, and they'll do the best. And they get the thing done. I'm telling you, this is going to be a very dangerous team in that NCAA tournament.
And, Coach, the other story, the overall story, #5 Texas going on the road and losing. We talked a little bit about the stats. How much does that stick with the team when they let one get away the way the Longhorns did today?
Well, first of all, a lot of BYU's buckets come from Ferret's passing also. We overlooked that to a degree. And then we think about Texas. I think Texas will bounce back and play extremely well on Monday night. I think they just had a little lapse like they've all had. Now, one thing we're not thinking about with the #1 seed is whoever it is that wins the Big East tournament has gone through a tournament that will be as difficult as the NCAA tournament will be. And no one from there is entering into our #1 seed thinking.
In terms of winning that Big East tournament, what's your impression of the way St. John's is playing right now?
Well, I think that if St. John's continues to play, if they already have a bye, they're going to be very good. Digger made a really good point in saying that they get a little bit more time to rest, and they're going to feel really good about earning something like that.
Well, you look at the entire landscape, it was a great day for games. Teams starting to get better and make statements later on. And Virginia Tech is hoping it can make a statement and enhance its tournament resume tonight by knocking off #1 Duke in Cassell Coliseum. Last 2 polls had the team, previous 2 polls had the #1 team go down. A guy ought to be sort of familiar with the surroundings is Seth Curry. His father, Del Curry, the second all-time leading scorer here at Virginia Tech. And tonight, Del will be rooting for his son. Seth leads the team with 42 steals, Duke and Virginia Tech. Coming up at the top of the hour, when College Game Day continues, some big-name teams starting to make a move. Dick Vitale is going to join us. UCLA, Syracuse, Kentucky, who could make big noise in the tournament. And some bubble teams took some hits today. Just when you think you have all the answers, somebody changes the bubble questions. And as promised, Dick Vitale among the Maroon Monsoon, ready to go tonight. We'll fire a couple of questions Sticky B's way in a bit.
College Game Day is driven by State Farm. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com.
Cassell Coliseum starting to come alive. #1 Duke getting set to take on Virginia Tech. Arizona and UCLA this afternoon. Arizona leading the Pac-10 by a game over UCLA. They won the first meeting in Tucson. Derek Williams had a little bit of a tough game. Arizona was in with 1. I'll tell you, one guy who didn't was Reeves Nelson. He found Malcolm Lee, and then Tyler Honeycutt would knock down the 3.
Well, Reeves Nelson, you mentioned, Reeves loved playing against Arizona in the 2 games against Arizona this year. He's averaging 26 points and 13 rebounds.
You know, Reeves Nelson won a camp slam dunk contest at UCLA once as a high school player and got one. But Derek Williams trying to keep Arizona in it. They're down 9, but then Josh Smith beat Nelson. The layup. Bruins up by 13 after the and 1, and with 47 seconds left, UCLA 21. Tyler Trapani, the great-grandson of John Wooden, checks in and gets the bucket. Got the missed shot and put it home, and his family proud of that. UCLA family delighted with the win, 71-49. Those 2 teams now tied atop of the Pac-10. Florida and Kentucky. Billy Donovan The SEC East at stake, an outright clinch. Watch Irving Walker get the ball deep, and when I say deep, I mean deep.
Well, Irving Walker and Kenny Boynton are not great shooters, but they have played really well of late.
Walker tried it again. He was 1 for 6 from behind the arc, and less than a minute later, Brandon Knight, Jake.
Well, Brandon Knight's having a really good year, especially as a freshman. He plays with an awful lot of poise.
Here's the aforementioned Kenny Boynton, who shot it much better from 3 of late. He's under 30% for the season. Did it again. He had 3 in a row against Georgia the other night. Really broke that game open. Florida hanging in against Kentucky. I tell you, Darius Miller had a great game.
Yeah, he had 24 points coming off a 22-point game. He's playing really well lately, and Kentucky, Reese, is just a better team at home. They play with much more confidence, and they play much more together basketball on both ends.
Miller would have a career high with those 24. Cats win at 76-68. Calipari gets his 500th win with a 76-68 victory over the mighty Gators. Back to the Big East we go. Syracuse and Georgetown. Of course, senior day for the Hoyas, playing without Chris Wright, at least for right now, that broken hand. And you see in the early going, Georgetown had some trouble with turnovers.
Yeah, they really did. Syracuse got 21 points off of 16 Georgetown turnovers. You can't do that at home, and this is why they break away and get control of this game.
And he scooped Jardine, getting ahead of the pack as Syracuse built the lead and more turnovers.
They just did a great job defensively. And when you look at it, I thought their defense, Georgetown shoots 36% for the game. They couldn't get it going. Freeman hits a shot here, but that was minimum because he goes 6 for 16 points.
You know, in the last game, the Hoyas had 20 assists on 24 field goals. 9 of them came from Wright. They had a little trouble leading for a while. Nate Lubick with a putback. The Hoyas are fighting in. They were down 1 here when Jardine hits the tough shot. And here's Scoop. He had 17.
Scoop was unbelievable. Consider this. Brandon Trish, as well as Chris Joseph, they only combined 3 for 11, but they find ways to score and win because of the balance of what goes on in this team with Rick Jackson having a big game.
Stark snapped that more than 7-minute field goal drought for the Hoyas. Jason Clark for the 3. Joseph got a hand on it. And Syracuse, all of a sudden, Syracuse a little bit warm again. They won 6 in a row. They win at 58-51. In progress from the bench, Notre Dame with a 42-41 lead on Seton Hall. Just 7.5 minutes to play there. Jeremy Hazel with 14 points. Tim Abromaitis leading the way for the Irish with 19 and 7. You can see the game right now over on ESPNU. The Big East standings go a little something like this. Pittsburgh now still with a 2-game lead in the loss column. Notre Dame is struggling at the moment, and the Irish could conceivably fall back into a tie with St. John's. As Digger, of course, always mentions top 4 teams get a double bye and don't have to play until Thursday of the Big East tournament. We have Virginia Tech and Duke. I did Temple and Duke earlier this week. Virginia Tech and Duke coming up at the top of the hour. Dick Vitale will be here on the call. Dick will talk about that game momentarily. But let's start with some of these powerhouses that stepped up today. UCLA, Kentucky, and Syracuse. Among that group, who can do the most damage in the NCAA tournament?
Well, you know, Reese, I think when you look at Syracuse and the length they have in that zone, where people don't see that zone, that can create a lot of problems. But I'm going to give the edge. Jay said a little bit earlier, Kentucky has been dominant at home, undefeated, have had a tough time on a roll. But I think on a neutral floor, John Calipari is one of those coaches that gets magical, it seems, at tournament time. And I look for Kentucky to make some noise come tournament time. I think with Knight and Jones, and if they get any kind of help at all from Miller and Harrelson and Liggins, they can be a dangerous basketball team.
We saw Miller really step up today against Florida, Dick, for sure. Now, our game tonight, Virginia Tech and Duke, if the Hokies are going to get this win and knock off number 1, what do they have to do?
You know, Reese, I think, number 1, they're going to need a Superman performance out of Malcolm Delaney. About 10 days ago, you saw that happen when Jake Pullen went for 38, and Kansas had moved in as number 1, and they beat him on their floor. I think this game is really big if the NCAA tournament is a dream for Virginia Tech fans. They haven't beaten a top 50 team. It's not been a vintage ACC. You get a chance to play number 1 on your floor. You got to pull the knockout punch, man. You got to go Tyson with a right to the jaw, and you got to floor him right on this floor, baby.
And you know, Dick, you'll call the game with Dan Schulman in a little while, and maybe Seth Greenberg is channeling his inner Digger. I know that's scary, but he does have 3 victories over number 1 teams. Of course, the old Silver Fox has 7 of them. Kyle Singler will try to turn that around. He's got 119 career wins at Duke. We'll take a look at Kansas, see how they did it against the Sooners when College Game Day rolls on.
Welcome back to College Game Day, driven by State Farm.
Cassell Coliseum will be rocking tonight. Jeff Alvin averages a double-double, and no active player in the ACC has more double-doubles than the Hokie big man. Seth Greenberg hoping for a big game out of him. He's with Dan Schulman, who called the game tonight.
Seth, obviously a very meaningful game for your program tonight. What are the keys when you go out there against #1 Duke?
I think most importantly, you've got to compete on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. They're so aggressive defensively, they create offense out of their defense. So we've got to pass and catch, meet our passes, cut hard, and compete offensively. Defensively, we've got to guard the basketball. If you don't guard the basketball, all of a sudden you're in a help situation. If you're in a help situation, they're getting to the offensive glass, you're committing fouls, they're getting N1s, they're getting kickouts. And we can compete offensively if we can do a good job of guarding the basketball, and then we've got to embrace the stage and not be overwhelmed by the stage. This is a unique experience for our basketball program. It's one I think these kids have earned, but now we've got to go out and play the game. You know, game day is great. Unfortunately, then you have to play the game, and we've got to go out and play well.
I know as a coach, all you think about is the game that's right in front of you. But big picture, how important is this game to your postseason chances?
You know, again, I think it's the next game, so it's huge. Would it be a marquee win? Sure. If you're playing Duke or you're playing a Duke-like program, it's a great win. It's a feathering game. We got 3 games. All right, this is the next game. This is the most important game. This is a great stage to show off our program and obviously help punch our ticket, but we've still got a lot of basketball to play.
Good luck tonight. Thanks for the time.
Great. Thanks, Dan.
Dan, Seth, thank you very much. In this building, Virginia Tech has had some wins against top-ranked teams. Even before Seth got here, the 06-07 victory against North Carolina was under Greenberg. They've also played UMass and Memphis, getting the victory back in the day against the Tigers when they were ranked #1. Will another #1 stumble on the road tonight? About 20 minutes away from tip-off for Virginia Tech and Duke. Reese Davis, Hubert Davis, Digger Phelps, Bob Knight, and Jay Billis with you on what's been a most entertaining day of college basketball. Kansas at one time ranked #1 in the country. They're sitting at #2 right now, perhaps poised to move should Duke stumble tonight. Taking on Oklahoma, and it was another great performance from both Morris twins, Coach.
Well, you know, I think Kansas played a pretty typical average good game for Kansas. The game was really never in doubt, but it wasn't a situation where Kansas just took everything away from Oklahoma. I think Kansas is really a very, very well-balanced team. They do a lot of things, and I think among the really good teams, they played better than anybody else did today.
Marcus and Markieff Morris near double-double. You see Tyrell Reed hit the shot. Marcus just needed one more rebound to go with his 23 points. He would have had a double-double just like his brother. The Jayhawks just a little too much. Here is Markieff, 12-point victory. Morris leading the way. Marcus with 23 points on the day. Missouri and Kansas State. Missouri's had all kind of trouble on the road. Here's the beard. Jacob Pullen. He finds Jordan Enriquez. Roberts underneath for the dunk, and the Wildcats were off and running and pulling through traffic.
Well, Missouri is a very good basketball team, and Reese, you mentioned they have struggled on the road in Big 12 play. But the reason why Kansas State is playing great right now is, #1, Jacob Pullen is playing like Jimmer Fredette. He's been aggressive on the offensive end. He's been terrific shooting from 3, creating shots for his teammates, and they're hitting free throws right now. 70% from the free throw line as well.
No double nickels. Will Spradling knocked down a 3 and off the inbounds pass. Rodney Magruder, who just found Spradling for the earlier triple, knocks one down. K-State gets the win 80-70, and now maybe the Wildcats starting to feel a little better about their NCAA tournament hopes. But now Texas and Kansas are tied for the lead in the Big 12, both sitting with 2 conference losses. College Game Day will see the Longhorns next week as they go on the road against Baylor. Baylor, a team starting to scuffle around that bubble as well. In the SEC, Vanderbilt had a meltdown earlier this week, kind of coughed up a game against Tennessee. LSU has really been struggling, and Jeffrey Taylor, when he plays like this, Vandy's very good.
Well, they're very solid. 20 points for him, and they put on a clinic in the second half. They go 49-26 against LSU, and boy, I'll tell you, it was amazing how they made this comeback. They were down 43-41.
Brad Tinsley found Taylor and Vanderbilt on the roll, and here's a guy that best shooter in college basketball.
John Jenkins, the best shooter, and he's going to be SEC Player of the Year, maybe along with Chandler Parsons having a terrific year as a sophomore.
Jenkins had 17. Commodores end up blowing out LSU 90-69. The Bayou Bengals are 3-11. Conference play. Vanderbilt sitting at 9-5 and still with a puncher's chance of getting the SEC East. Great game just before us. Mississippi State and Tennessee. Rayburn Johnson, he too is a pure shooter, Jay.
Well, Rayburn Johnson, when he gets his feet set, he goes straight up and down. He knocks down more shots than he misses. He can really fire it.
Now, with a one-point game, Scotty Hobson had a chance to tie it. He missed the free throw, but Tennessee maintains possession. Great out-of-bounds play.
You know, it's often the screener that's going to be open. They went with Scotty Hobson. DeBost was terrific in this play. It looked like he might have walked, though.
Wendell Lewis finished it. What do you think? Did he walk?
It was close. I mean, that's a tough one to call at that point in the game.
Well, Lewis couldn't hit the free throw, so Hobson has one more chance, and he can't get it done. And an SEC West team, again, goes on the road, beats Tennessee in Knoxville 70-69. Now, Alabama's leading the way. In fact, they've won the West, but they're sitting on the bubble for Anthony Grant. On the road against Ole Miss. Second half, Alabama had an 11-point lead at one point. It's 5 at the moment. Trevor Relaford, the freshman point guard.
Well, Trevor Relaford, the freshman point guard, is fantastic distributing the basketball and also scoring. But the problem was Alabama's a great defensive team. They didn't play good defense today. Put Ole Miss on the line 34 times.
And Chris Warren cut right through them, and the Rebels knock off the Crimson Tide 68-63. Alabama and Florida play on Tuesday night. Huge game in terms of the SEC regular season championship. But you look at this resume, Hubert. Will Alabama eventually make the NCAA tournament?
I think they will. They have a weak non-conference resume. They're 11-3, first place in the SEC West. The key thing is they're 3-1 versus the SEC East, which they're going to get 5 teams into the NCAA tournament. They've got to win one of those games against Florida or Georgia, Reese.
Florida game on the road, the Georgia game at home. In Grant's second season, he tries to get the Tide back to the tournament. Check in at Wichita State and Missouri State. This was for the battle for the Missouri Valley Conference Championship, or at least in the regular season. And Jermaine Mallett and one. He'd make the free throw. Missouri State up 63-59. Adam Leonard's going to knock down the three. Missouri State would go on to win the thing 69-64. It is their first ever Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Conzo Martin, the former Purdue star, overcome with emotion. And it's 69-64. Missouri State wins the league. They should be in pretty good shape. And now you look at Wichita State and their resume. Jay, eventually, do the Shockers make it into the NCAA tournament?
I doubt it. You know, they haven't had enough big wins or quality wins to make it into the field, although I think they are good enough to play in the NCAA tournament. They're better than their record says they are.
Wichita State still with an opportunity in the Valley Conference. Nebraska and Iowa State. Nebraska also sitting on the bubble. Iowa State and Mayor Fred Horberg. Scott Christopherson, a star is born. He hits the three. Iowa State takes an 8-point lead. Here comes Lance Jeter, Digger.
Well, he comes out, makes things happen inside. When you look at Iowa State, they just figure out, how can we win this game? Well, let's go overtime.
Jeter on the wing and a 3-point lead for Iowa State. Knocks down the three. We're tied at 72. We'd go to overtime. Under 10 seconds to play. Jeter gets a real tough look. It's an air ball, and Iowa State gets its second Big 12 victory of the season, and that is a damaging loss for Nebraska. Here are their numbers. Will the Huskers eventually make the NCAA tournament?
No, not now. When you look at them, they're 6-8 in the league. You've got to be at least 500 in the Big 12. They will not get in unless they play well in the Big 12 Conference tournament.
Also sitting on the bubble in the ACC is Boston College. BC taking on Virginia. A game, again, you can't afford to lose. Nebraska couldn't come through and get it done. What about Steve Donahue and the Eagles? Virginia up 4. Corey Raji gets the steal. He and Reggie Jackson work it nicely, Jay.
Well, Reggie Jackson is one of the best scorers in the country. And Boston College has had some bad losses. They've had a couple good wins. This game against Virginia is just one that they could not lose.
Jackson ties it up for BC at 28. Then Raji opens C the 3, B the 3. A 13-0 run for Boston College. And then Jackson would knock down the 3 and get fouled to complete a 4-point play. And Boston College not really challenged after that. 63-44 the final. BC 17-11, even up in the ACC. The rest of their resume numbers. Will the Eagles eventually make it into the tournament?
I think it'll be close. I don't think right now they're in. I think they've got a ways to go, and they're going to have to win some games in the ACC tourney.
Don't forget they got 2 losses to Harvard and Yale from the Ivy League.
Harvard might not be bad. Harvard's got an opportunity to win the Ivy and get on in to the NCAA tournament. Mike Krzyzewski closing in on the all-time wins record. He and Seth Greenberg greeting tonight. Right now, Coach K's Blue Devils sitting in number 1. Greenberg 3 times has defeated teams ranked number 1 in the country. Will it be number 4 tonight? Here is Del Curry, the former Hokie star, whose son now plays for the Blue Devils with Frank Beamer, the legendary head football coach of the Hokies. Going to be in a big night tonight here in Blacksburg.
College Game Day is driven by State Farm. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com.
Back in Blacksburg, Virginia Tech getting set to take on Duke. Tip-off coming in just under 8 minutes right now. The Hokie cheerleaders trying to get this Maroon Monsoon crowd all revved up. Number 1 playing tonight in a tough place to play. If you happen to just be joining us getting ready for the games, the big-time games happen today. San Diego State and BYU. Jimmer Fredette going into the Viejas Center to take on the Aztecs, and Jimmer got off to a great start. San Diego State's Kawhi Leonard had 17 and 13 and got back, but Fredette, though he didn't shoot a great percentage, coach was really dominant at times in this game.
Well, he does a lot more things. He's a great leader, and Digger talked a little while ago about the contributions that other players on the BYU team had made, but they did so with 9 assists from Jimmer, and that indicates just what a well-rounded player he is.
There was one of them. Brandon Davies finished it. Jimmer might have helped BYU get in that conversation. Number 1 seed, Texas number 5. They had a 22-point lead at one point on Colorado. It looked as if they were just going to blow this thing out as Tristan Thompson's on the finish, but Alec Burks went off.
Well, Alec Burks is one of the best scorers in the country, had 33 points in this game. I thought that Texas's defense was really poor. They gave up over 50% from the field in the first half when they had that big lead. In the second half, even worse. Open shot after open shot after open shot.
Levi Knutson knocking down a couple of threes. Colorado surged to the lead. Then Corey Higgins would pass it out to Knutson, who finds Andre Robertson, and Colorado wins it for Tad Boyle, and maybe Colorado's in that bubble discussion now, 91-89. St. John's taking on Villanova. The Red Storm and Dwight Hardy making a big-time statement as they stay hot and beat a ranked team on the road for the first time. Corey Stokes tried to get Villanova back in it. He had 6 3-pointers, but every time, even after Malik Wayne's got the 3-point play, Johnny's had the answer with Dwight Hardy.
Hey, Dwight Hardy just takes his game over when they need it. He had 34 points, and St. John scored 16 of the last 20 points of the game to win it.
81-68. St. John's look pretty good right now. One of those top 4 seeds. Kentucky and Florida in the SEC. Gators trying to win the outright overall regular season SEC championship. Kenny Boynton hit a couple of threes, and Florida was hanging close. This was a really fine performance from Darius Miller.
Well, Darius Miller is a guy that they want him to be more aggressive on the offensive end. He was able to knock it down from 3-point range. But the guy that I really like, Brandon Knight, is playing terrific at the point guard position, distributing the basketball, taking care of it. He had 6 assists and 0 turnovers in this game.
76-68, Florida and Alabama for the SEC lead on the U Tuesday night. Michigan and Minnesota, both teams fighting there in the bubble, and Trevor Mbakwe will just throw it down on Zach Novak.
I think we're going to find that probably the Big Ten in the final analysis will have less teams that can be considered than any of the major conferences.
Novak would knock down the 3. Michigan with a 2-point lead, under a minute to go. Novak comes up with the steal. Darius Morris. Wolverines 70-63. Still under 500 in the Big Ten, and now Minnesota has fallen to 6-10 in Big Ten play. Coach, as you look at this, do you think they end up making the NCAA tournament?
I don't think with that kind of resume and what they've done or haven't done over the course of the season, they'll even get much consideration.
Well, Minnesota perhaps having to make a lot of noise in the Big Ten tournament coming up after Tubby Smith's team is starting to swoon down the stretch. Very latest, up to the second, from Joe Lenardi, our ESPN.com bracketologist. The last 4 teams in, the first 4 out. Georgia, Richmond, Memphis, and Colorado State from the Mountain West in. Clemson, BC, Baylor, and Colorado out. What do you think?
Memphis got beat by 100 today.
I don't understand.
How could they
Memphis
possibly be in?
No way.
So you don't. Memphis probably doesn't have much of a resume, but certainly that won't be an issue for the team we'll see tonight. Kyle Singler and Duke. Singler scored over 2,200 points earlier today. Dan Schulman chatted with Mike Krzyzewski.
Mike, you've said you've coached 2 teams this year, before the Kyrie Irving injury and since. Now that you've had a couple of months with this group, do you feel they've gelled to the point that you need them to?
Yeah, I think we still need to gel more, but we're becoming a very good team, and games like this one and the 2 that remain after this will help us. This environment and playing against an outstanding Virginia Tech team can only make you better as you go into March.
Kyle Singler broke out of a scoring drought, if you want to call it, 28 points in the last game. How important is that for you guys?
Yeah, well, he's never in a drought of winning. He's won 119 games as a player, and sometimes a kid's shot may not go, but his will to win has never been in a drought. So I'm okay with Kyle. Hopefully he goes more towards the 28 than the 10 tonight, because we'll need that tonight.
Jeff Allen's been playing at such a high level for them. How do you try to contain him tonight?
Yeah, I think he's playing, as well as any big guy in our conference. He's in great shape, and he seems more under control, and he's attacking the glass, both with the ball, and then if his teammates miss a shot. He's become one of the great offensive rebounders in the country during this last month.
Good luck tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Dan, Coach, thank you very much. This week's IBM Insight Center features prolific scorers, the top 2 scorers in the ACC on display tonight, and 4 of the top 7. You shouldn't have any trouble finding guys who can put the ball in the bucket in this matchup between the Hokies and Duke. Time now to make picks for our game, Virginia Tech and Duke. It's raucous in here. What do you think? Who wins the game?
I really like Duke. Jeff Allen from Virginia Tech is playing great. With Duke, too much experience. Nolan Smith and Kyle Singler. I have Duke.
I think it's a moment game for Virginia Tech. They will win this game. Why? I just think Malcolm Delaney can take the game over. Don't have the turnovers. Make sure you keep Duke off the glass. Spread the floor drive. Get points to the paint. You can steal this win. Duke.
Virginia Tech's offense has to be the best part of its defense. If they turn the ball over, Duke will be able to play ahead of their defense. If that happens, Duke's going to win. I think Duke will win this game in a very tough environment.
Over 9,800 people getting set for Virginia Tech and Duke. The Hokies trying to get a signature on their resume and work their way into the NCAA tournament. Mike Krzyzewski 8 wins away from the all-time record. Seth Greenberg hopes he's 40 minutes away until he gets his 4th victory over the #1 team in the country. Just moments ago, Seth Greenberg had this to say to his team. Then you'll hear Dan and Dick.
Seniors that are healthy, you guys have been through it all. You've had detours, you've had potholes, but you know the one thing you always done? Every single obstacle you met head on. Every single obstacle, you didn't turn away from it. You met head on, and you know what? You were better for it. We don't make excuses, and most importantly, we have no regrets. There are no excuses and no regrets in what we're trying to do tonight. It's all about trusting each other. Most important, get to the next play. Get to the next play. You got 10 4-minute games. 10 4-minute games for a memory lifetime. Let's go get this win.
That tells you what kind of a game it is tonight here in Blacksburg. Welcome to the Infinity College Basketball Tip-Off, coming to you live from sold-out Cassell Coliseum, the place to be tonight here in college basketball. Welcome to the Infinity College Basketball Tip-Off, bringing you the inspired performances that define the season. The #1 team in the nation is here, the Duke Blue Devils, to take on Virginia Tech, looking for that signature win, that big-time win to show the committee they belong in the NCAA tournament. Hi, everybody. Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale. If it's late February, Virginia Tech must be on the bubble, right? How much does this game mean to them?
Well, I think anytime you haven't beaten a top 50 team and you get a chance to play #1 on your floor, you're in a conference right now that doesn't give you a lot of opportunities against nationally rated clubs. You better take advantage. They must pull the knockout punch. Kansas State did it to Kansas when they were #1, and it was Jacob Pullen who put 38 on the board. Malcolm Delaney will have to be a flat-out superstar to beat Duke on this floor. Duke's playing great team defense now. They got more balance than they've ever had, and Nolan Smith is absolutely sensational.
Well, you mentioned both the guys we want to focus on in our Star Watch tonight. Two great guards.
Well, you talk about great guards. In America, you talk right here. Nolan Smith has absolutely been super. That's a chance to lead the conference in assists, scoring. He's been brilliant. On the other end, Malcolm Delaney is second in the conference in scoring. He's been playing great lately. Last 4 games, 23 a game. He's been dynamite. He can shoot the three. He's great on the free throw line. He can be very explosive.
Virginia Tech's had some success against #1s in this building. Thanks for watching the Infinity College Basketball Tip-Off. Go to ESPN.com/Infinity to spread some inspiration of your own.
The fans definitely create an amazing atmosphere, amazing electricity, and hopefully we inspire them. And that's what makes a good team.
There's 10,000 people jumping up and down. It's electric. Our guys feed off of that emotion. You can see it in the faces of the fans. You can hear it. You can feel it in the vibrations of the floor.
Infinity is an official corporate partner of NCAA men's basketball. Spread some inspiration of your own at ESPN.com/Infinity.
Welcome to Saturday Night Primetime, presented by DirecTV, a part of Judgment Week, presented by Battle Los Angeles. Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale back with you at Cassell Coliseum, the home of the Virginia Tech Hokies. The first game day visit to this building, and they've got #1 in the house. And the Hokies are fired up. Malcolm Delaney says, this is the biggest game I've ever played in. Mike Krzyzewski coaching a #1 team, get this, for the 209th time. The 209th game where he has taken the court with the Duke Blue Devils ranked #1 in the nation. A look at the starting lineup. Nolan Smith having a player of the year type of season. Kyle Singler having a great senior season as well. Seth Curry, Ryan Kelly, Mason Plumlee rounding out the starting 5 for Virginia Tech. The 2 key players, the high-scoring guard Malcolm Delaney and the double-double machine up front in Jeff Allen. It is imperative, says head coach Seth Greenberg, that Allen stay out of foul trouble and stay on the court.
They're very limited in terms of going to the bench, Dan. They've had some major injuries earlier this year. They lost Hudson, who was a terrific guard, and played without Thompson, Chaney, Raines. They have 4 key components that would be part of this club. And Duke has one who makes up for 4 in Irvin.
Jamie Lucky, Brian Kersey, Brian Dorsey, our officials, and we're underway with the Hokies getting the first possession.
Man-to-man defense by Duke, playing outstanding defense. Last 7 games in a winning streak, teams are shooting like 40% against them.
Bell inside, Allen has it rejected, and it's Duke's ball. Duke is on a 7-game winning streak. They are 26-2 on the season. Both losses on the road, one at Florida State, one at St. John's, which, by the way, picked up another big win today, winning at Villanova.
Tell you one thing, Robin doing a great job. But in those 2 losses, they lost to 2 athletic teams. Yes. Teams that were a little bit superb athletically, quickness. And that's a little bit of a problem here tonight. Virginia Tech has that, plus has a lot of emotion going for them.
Duke has more size, Virginia Tech more athleticism. First meeting of the season between these 2 programs. Seth Curry, whose dad, Dell, of course, was a superstar here for Virginia Tech back in the 80s. misses the shot, and now gets called for the foul. There's Dandel. Let's think about Seth for a moment here. He grew up a Virginia Tech fan. He wore Virginia Tech jerseys as a kid. He wears his dad's number. I mean, this has got to be an emotional night for Seth Curry.
Well, yeah, he really wanted to play here, but obviously they didn't think he was good enough. He went down to Liberty, and now you better believe that he's going to be emotionally charged. Since he's been in a starting lineup, they've played really better, and he had 22 that got him in the starting lineup against North Carolina when he came off the bench.
He's become a fairly consistent third scoring option for Mike Krzyzewski.
And he's getting better defensively. He's getting a little bit stronger physically.
Delaney and Smith matched up on one another. What a great matchup at the guard position. Allen, the deep jumper, and the weak side rebound to Kyle Singler.
You know, Singler was in a slump shooting. Broke out the last game with 28. But the one thing he was consistent, he played great team defense.
And that's something the Duke coaching staff is really emphasizing when they talk to us, how tough he has been defensively this year. Mason Plumlee. Tough move to the baseline. Good defense by Victor Davila.
I think it's important and pertinent, really, for Virginia Tech to get an early lead. I really believe that psychologically.
A trap on Delaney in the corner. He finds Allen. He finds Davila, and they're on the board.
Davila gets the play on the inside. Great diagonal pass. Bounce pass. This crowd is charged up, man. They're all charged up. These Hokies want this W badly.
Nolan Smith misses the three. Remember, each of the last 3 years, Virginia Tech has played in the NIT, so these great seniors, Delaney, Allen, they have never played in the NCAA tournament. Davila again.
Davila giving him post presence inside. You got to worry a little bit about being too emotionally charged to start the game, and then you end up with what they call emotional fatigue.
So far, so good. No fatigue in this building right now. Plumlee. Off to Smith, who's leading the ACC in scoring and in assists. Boy, these Hokie players are fired up. Really talking out there, working on D. Ryan Kelly misses the three. Delaney soaring for the rebound.
He's multi-talented. He's a real talent.
In the corner, Eric Green had a clean look, but he misses the three.
He's one of the most improved point guards in the league. Really doing a terrific job. Good free throw shooter as well.
Became a starter, Dick, after the injury to Lorenzo Hudson. That moved Delaney off the ball. Green, the sophomore, stepping in. He's done a nice job.
Yeah, he really distributes the ball well.
Nolan Smith will quiet the crowd, averaging better than 21 points per game.
Tell you one thing, there's no doubt he's in the argument for player of the year, even though I give this slight edge to Jimmer. He was, again, sensational, getting 25 to beat San Diego State today.
And 9 assists. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but I agree with you. I think those are the top 2 in the country right now. I know we're going to show the 5 guys you've got on your first team All-American team a little bit later on tonight, and they're both a big part of it. Allen. Jeff Allen with just his 4th three-pointer of the season.
He's been a double-double guy, though, throughout his career. He really gets on the glass, as Mike Krzyzewski said. A bona fide big-time offensive rebound.
What a drive by Nolan Smith. How many guards in America are as dangerous from outside and putting the ball on the floor as Smith?
That's a great point, Dan. A lot of guys either have one of those areas or don't do both, and he can do both.
He's gotten better and better over his 4 years in Durham. Allen defended by Kelly. Here comes the help from Plumlee.
Got to double up. You got to reverse the ball and get it away from the double team.
Nice pass. Count it.
Tell you one thing, Virginia Tech started off slowly this year. They were 4-4. They get better and better.
Great ball movement by the Hokies. Great energy in the house. And Virginia Tech off to a terrific start.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
That much fun are we having in Blacksburg, Virginia, the home of the Hokies. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale, the game day gang here for Saturday primetime. What a start for the Hokies, Dick. And great ball movement, great interior passing.
I'll tell you, watch this pass right here. Great pass. We're going to see Friesen. They're going to watch the diagonal pass right across from Jeff Allen to his buddy Davila down in the interior. Great bounce pass, the diagonal look, and they got the conversion up 9-4.
And Dick, on that last play just before the timeout, The foul was charged to Seth Curry. He's got 2 fouls already. And the young man who's probably so emotional about playing in this game, he's had to go to the bench early. Andre Dawkins is in the bench for Duke along with Miles Plumlee.
Tell you what, he's probably so charged up, waiting for this moment, playing here, wanted to play here, as you said, Dan, at Virginia Tech. Now it's getting a moment now for Andre Dawkins to really shine. He's really been up and down as a player. He's been one-dimensional, shooting the basketball. He's got to show a little bit more variety.
Eric Green misses the free throw. Virginia Tech up 5 in the early going against the #1 team in the nation, the Duke Blue Devils. Number 4, number 5, both lost today. San Diego State losing to BYU, and Texas lost to Colorado. The Buffaloes went on a 37-9 run in the second half to beat the Longhorns.
Pat Boyle doing a good job up there. Alex Burks can flat out play.
Oh boy, he had 33 today.
I think it's clearly now who's going to be the #1 seeds. I think you're looking at one right here. I think you're looking at Pittsburgh. You're looking at Kansas and Ohio State. I think they're your 4 #1 seeds unless something happens, one of those clubs collapses.
Nolan Smith and Malcolm Delaney really getting after it. These 2 outstanding guards matched up on one another.
That's a lot of pride right there. Both do a good job defensively.
Good help there. The block by Miles Plumlee. Shot clock does not reset. And it will be a shot clock violation on the Hokies.
Tell you one thing, Duke doing a better job blocking shots. Seth Greenberg wanted a little foul call there. He sees the same barber that you and I do.
we could get a deal, the 3 of us.
Hey, we took a picture with his beautiful daughter. The 3 of us, you had a great line. The 3 ballheads.
Beauty and the 3 beasts is what it was like. Well, Coach Greenberg's daughter, a member of the dance team here at Virginia Tech. Andre Dawkins, a deep one. And tapped back out by Kelly. Well, Mike Krzyzewski has nothing but praise for Kelly and the way he plays the game, the high basketball IQ that he's got.
Well, he kept that ball alive. Very reminiscent of last year. Zubik used to do that. Tipping the ball back, giving him second opportunities.
Smith, tough one over Green. Another long rebound.
Can't give them second and third opportunities. Tell you one thing, Sigler has a winner's mentality. I don't care what the kid scores. I want him on the floor for me.
There's a foul on Green. Do you know that this is Kyle Singler's 141st game, 140th start in the Duke program?
That's not too bad. I think he's earned a scholarship.
Yeah, he's done all right.
He had 28 the last game. 30's his career high. November 27th, back in his home state of Oregon against his brother.
He is 5th on Duke's all-time scoring list, and he's got Mike Juminski in his sights for that 4th spot in the next couple of weeks. And there's a foul charge to Bell, who's giving up about 3 inches of height in that matchup against Singler.
You know, Dan, you bring up the point totals. Reddick's #1 in 2007, 69. Then Johnny Dawkins, a teammate of our own, Jay Billis, 2.556. Leitner with 24.60. Juminski 23.23, and then Mr. Singler.
So Singler could catch Leitner if Duke has a very deep run into the NCAA tournament as Mason Plumlee comes in for Kelly. Mason Plumlee's been a big-time rebounder in the second half of the season.
Also blocked shots, 7th in the conference. In fact, their defense has really been helped by Kelly taking charges and block shots, both by certainly Kelly as well. He's got 44 block shots this year, and Mason has 45.
Nice cut. Davila and Miles Plumlee called for the foul.
Good execution, though. Good basketball efficiency right now to Virginia Tech. Getting good ball movement. We're going to watch this right there. There's the backdoor cut. Good recovery defensively to put him at the foul line, take the dunk away.
Wow. Pretty good looking play there by Miles Plumlee, but he gets called for the foul. Davila will go to the line for 2 free throws. Mike Krzyzewski with 894 wins in his career. You and I sat in a room with almost 1,800 wins earlier tonight with Mike Krzyzewski and Bob Knight.
Well, we took a picture, the 4 of us. And between us all, we had like about 1,879 wins. I got 79. How many you got?
Yeah, I'm not helping at all. But
1,800 wins. That's scary, man. That's scary.
Well, I'm thinking, what are the odds? We were talking about this with Coach K at shoot-around earlier today. Jay Billis was there. What are the odds that the all-time record in wins is going to be broken by the protege, that the mentor will have the record and the protege will break it.
That's so unique. And I remember putting up age on me, watching him play in the Garden when he coached West Point and Mike was the point guard.
With his free throws by Davila, Virginia Tech could have a larger lead than it does right now.
See, you want to pull the upset, you better convert on the free throw line. You can't allow those opportunities to slip by. They're playing with a lot of intensity on his defensive end, matching up with you.
Singler driving. Fadeaway. Good defense by Bell, but Singler knocks it down.
I'll tell you one thing, Bell is a terrific defensive player. He's long, doesn't have the size as Singler.
Malcolm Delaney still scoreless in this game. There he is with the ball. He's the leading scorer on this Virginia Tech team, better than 19 a game. Eric Green misses the three, and the rebound to Mason Plumlee.
You know, that's a great point. Delaney hasn't scored. The reason, the suffocating defense by Nolan Smith. People don't realize he's more than an offensive player.
And Delaney called for the foul, trying to guard Smith. This guy has been such an outstanding performer. He is fourth on Virginia Tech's all-time scoring list. He is second on their all-time assist list. So he is one of the all-time greats in this program, and he has never played in the NCAA tournament.
You know, Dan, my preseason All-American team, my two guards were Delaney and Pullen. Pullen's really coming on strong now, performed exceptionally well today in a win over Missouri. And really, Delaney's been pretty good all year, just hasn't had enough help around him.
Davila, a very active start to this game. Green, Bell, Cassell.
Nice look by Green. Team-oriented, just gave a nice look to his teammate. Green's game has gotten up and up and up. These Hokie fans are all fired up. Can it happen? Can number one go down?
Singler, nice shot fake, misses the 15-footer. Bodies on the deck, and Singler cleans up the mess.
I can't believe there was no call there.
Miles over the back.
Oh, over the back. Clearly over the back.
Yeah.
Clearly over the back. They got away with one there.
Smith hounding Delaney, who continues to run through screen after screen, trying to deny him the ball as well. Allen, a little out of control, and is fouled on the deck by Mason Plumlee. Getting physical here in Cassell Coliseum. Look who's there, Singler, to pick up the loose ball and jam it home, but we got a good one going in the early going. The Hokies up a deuce on the Blue Devils. Virginia Tech leading number one Duke by 2 in the early going. Number one's been a treacherous place at times this season.
And it's deja vu in Madison. Down goes Ohio State. The Wildcats get their signature victory, 84-68 against Contract Kansas.
Will it happen again? Number one Duke in the house here in Blacksburg. And Virginia Tech has some history beating number one teams 3 times in the program's history, including a win over North Carolina just a few years ago in 2007 and winning at Wake against number one 2 years ago. And this is a good Virginia Tech team capable of pulling off this upset.
Absolutely. You know what's really shocking there as you look at Seth Greenberg on the sideline? 2009, they beat number one in the nation, Wake Forest, at Wake Forest. Look where Wake Forest has gone since then. Yeah. Unbelievable.
They're dead last right now in the ACC.
Oh,
They lost
sad.
again today. Delaney still hasn't scored in this game. What a rebound by Allen. Rejected, gets it back, misses again. What a battle on the glass. Finally, Smith has it for the Blue Devils.
You know, Malcolm Delaney hasn't had an open look yet. That was not an open look right there. They got 5 field goals and 4 tremendous assists. My guy Marty Arnoff lets me know.
Ryan Kelly and Duke now 0 for 5 from three-point range.
And remember the Florida State game, they had a tough time shooting threes. And it led to that.
Allen blocked again. Kelly's a legit 6'10". Allen's closer to 6'7", 6'8".
You know, not great athletes when you look at the Duke kids, but they have a great understanding how to play. That's a perfect example. Perfect example. Did you see the shot fake? Catch the ball, triple threat position for you young kids, and the shot fake. A simplicity of a shot fake got him open for a layup.
Mike Krzyzewski also says last year Kelly was 208 pounds. This year he's 232. It's made a huge difference. Good save by Tyler Thornton, but only for a moment.
You know, Thornton's really been a great help for them defensively.
ESPN, the home court of college hoops, continues tomorrow with Judgment Week, presented by the movie Battle Los Angeles on ESPN at 1 Eastern. Good one, number 8 Purdue in East Lansing to take on Michigan State. The Spartans are still looking to solidify, perhaps improve, their position heading into March.
Tell you what, two teams you don't want to see on your line come tournament time in that first round, Michigan State or Kansas State.
Preseason number 2 and number 3 in the country, right?
Yep.
Shot clock at 4. Delaney, nice look. Allen, long on the 3.
Should have been reversed. Should have been Allen to Delaney.
10 minutes in, Delaney hasn't scored.
They're in a zone right now. In a zone. Very difficult to zone, too. I think it's very difficult to zone them. They run good zone offense. They got guys who can kick it out, who can shoot the 3.
Singler misses the 3 on that occasion. Virginia Tech will zone to stay out of foul trouble because their numbers are low as Eric Green puts the pedal to the metal at the other end.
I like Green. I'll tell you one thing. Changes speeds really well with his dribble. Goes in transition. Look at this right here. Change speeds. Gets to the open area. Arias floats it up on the glass and it falls down. Look right here. Great shoulder fake.
He's had some big games against Maryland, 24 and 20 points, so he's a scoring threat. And he also, as a sophomore who wasn't even a starter at the beginning of the year, he leads the ACC in assist-to-turnover ratio.
He's really taking advantage of a chance that came his way because of the injury to Hudson. You look at the ACC right now, big game for Virginia Tech. Maryland's got a big game tomorrow at North Carolina. I mean, that's a big game for Gary Williams and the Terps.
Earlier today, the teams that had to win did win. Boston College won at Virginia. Clemson beat Wake Forest. And Florida State beat Miami. As Thornton, you talked about, he has been a major contributor for Duke since the injury to Kyrie Irving.
That was a plus. They left him wide open because he's not noted as a scorer, and he nails the 3. That's a big positive for Duke.
Just his 4th 3 of the season in 14 attempts, and the first made 3-pointer tonight for the Blue Devils.
His great asset is his defensive intensity. He's able to play the point guards, allow Nolan.
Good hands by Miles Plumlee. Thornton ahead to Smith for the jam, and Duke's got the lead.
Nice play right there by Thornton to get the ball to Smith. Smith recognizes it, comes back, gives him a little high 5, or low 5, but he gave him a 5.
First lead of the night for the Blue Devils, and you wonder, does Delaney start to press? He still hasn't scored. Smith's all over him. Does he start pressing, trying to get open looks, or does he let the game come to him? Allen, jump push. That is beautiful.
He's big time.
Yes, he is.
Dan, he's a big time performer. He's a PTP, a prime time performer.
5 points, 5 rebounds already tonight. His last 8 games, averaging better than 18 and 12.
They cannot beat Duke unless Delaney gets going. Delaney has to be productive for them to win.
Singler can't get the shot off, and then we'll draw the foul. He's as good as anybody in college basketball at doing that.
Yeah, he does a great job, first of all, when he catches the ball. He is always squared to the basket, and he's always in triple threat position. Something that is so vital. So many kids are so out of control.
Singler to the line. Second foul on Eric Green. Seth Greenberg has such a limited bench. And he has still not gone to that bench tonight. The 5 starters have played the first 12 minutes of this game.
And those injuries we talked about, the kids that he thought would contribute this year. You had J.T. Thompson out with his torn ACL. You had Lorenzo Hudson went out, hurt his foot, played the first 9 games. Alan Cheney was supposed to help him from out of Florida.
It's a viral condition that affects his heart. Hasn't played at all.
Kid named Raines was supposed to play as well, but he was out with a foot injury.
There's Kyrie Irving still out with that toe injury. Has not played since early December. And Mike Krzyzewski has always said they don't expect to get him back. And both coaches do what all good coaches do. They focus on what they do have, not on what they don't. Corner 3 for Green from Delaney.
Tell you one thing, Green has really elevated his game. Nice look by Delaney. Green is all pumped up. They're sitting in that 2-3 zone, as you said, to protect players because they just don't have enough bodies.
Only 8 scholarship players.
They got good 8, though. I'll tell you one thing, those kids are good players.
Kelly from the elbow. Virginia Tech was picked second in the conference preseason behind Duke, but the injuries have made it a tougher year for them. Delaney continues to move the basketball. Davila got it back. Davila working hard.
Tell you one thing, you said it earlier, Davila has come to play. He's been a force on the inside. See, winning 2 of the last 3 games would make them 10-6 in the conference. I'm not convinced that's good enough. It wasn't good enough last year. I thought they got a raw deal and should have been in the tournament, but the committee said no top 50 wins.
At the moment, our bracketologist Joe Lenardi has them in Virginia Tech as a 10 seed, but winning this game would sure help, and they are playing hard. The big guys are doing all the dirty work down low. The jump hook by Jeff Allen. Victor Davila's already made 3 field goals tonight, and Virginia Tech leads by 3.
Graham Whiteside in the studio. Texas A&M has been in 4 overtime games this year. The only one they lost was against Baylor. Here's the rematch in Waco, tight early on ESPNU. The Bears 1 for 5 from 3. This one fell for Anthony Jones. Joe Lenardi says right now, Bears on the outside looking in. Back to Blacksburg.
And right now, it would appear, according to Joe Lenardi, he's got a Virginia Tech in, but as a 10 seed, and they've got some tough games still to come against some other so-called bubble teams, Clemson and BC. This is a monster week or so right now for the Hokies.
Oh, monster week. You think back 2 years ago, they're 10-6, and Tom O'Connor, the chair of the committee, said they didn't get in because they didn't have top 50 wins. Nolan Smith, he's doing all he can to keep Duke here in the hunt.
8 points for Smith, the leading scorer in the ACC at better than 21 a game. Seth Curry is back in now for Duke.
Tell you one thing, Davila and also Green have been superb. They got 14 and 21 points.
And Delaney still scoreless. Better than 13 minutes into the game, yet Virginia Tech is clinging to a 1-point lead, and Seth Greenberg still has not gone to his bench at all tonight. Another good strong inside move, but a block from behind. Allen knocks down the jumper.
Hey, Jeff Allen feeling it as well. They can't get an open look for Delaney. The reason? Very simple. The suffocating defense by Nolan Smith. He is playing terrific on the defensive end.
And forgive me, Jarrell Eddy was in for just a few seconds, is not into the game now. Other than that, nobody's played off the bench.
Oh, what a great pass. What a great pass. Are you serious? The Hokies are jumping with joy. Oh, they're rocking and rolling here in Blacksburg. And it's not for football, baby. It's hoops.
Terrell Bell to Eric Green for the play of the game.
That's going to be on SportsCenter.
You betcha. Jump hook, Plumlee.
That will not be on SportsCenter, but you know what? That'll be on Mike Krzyzewski's mind. It's 2 on the board.
That's right. It's worth just as much. And the deficit is now 3 for Duke. Mason Plumlee continuing to grow as a player.
Yeah, Mike said he really is getting better and better.
Jeff Allen, what a night.
Somebody call the fire chief, man. He's burning up the nets. He's burning up the nets. Jeff Allen's on fire. If they can only get their guy Delaney going, this could be an incredible night for the Hokies.
Jeff Allen might have himself a double-double by halftime. Hand off to Smith. Baseline drive. Off Davila. And it will stay with Duke. Seth Greenberg, this time of year, every year it seems they're on the bubble. It's a lot of emotional anguish for a coach waiting for Selection Sunday. Have they done enough? In the NIT each of the last 3 years, 2 of those 3 years, it was felt they were legitimately on the bubble and had at least a case to maybe get in. Here's Delaney.
That's his first deuce. What a way to get it. Leaked out in transition. That's usually another situation, not getting back defensively. Duke did a poor job in defensive transition.
What an environment here in Blacksburg, and if you like good passing, you're going to love what you're about to see. As pretty a pass, as unselfish a play, Dick, as you'll ever see.
Yeah, really unselfish. There they are in transition, and he had a great feel, great instincts. He knew right away where the open guy was. See, Curry right there didn't want to foul him because he didn't want to get that 3rd foul.
The lead is 7. Singler can't turn the corner.
Tell you one thing, they're defending really well, Virginia Tech.
Tyrone Garland into the game, number 21 for the Hokies, freshman guard out of Philadelphia.
The one thing about Duke, though, they get everybody's best hit every game, so they're accustomed to this.
Well, I'll tell you, Davila, who's really a complementary player on this team, not like Delaney or Allen, is having a monster first half and working his tail off at both ends.
Well, he's got more points already than he had against Wake Forest the last game. He had 5.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. The Hokies with the ball and a 7-point lead.
Tell you one thing that's impressed me, the way they're executing. Showing a lot of patience. They're unselfish with the ball.
Curry now defending Delaney.
See, a lot of times you get a great scorer like Delaney, he'll take bad shots.
Like that?
Like right there. That was not available because they start to press. They take bad shots. He was not forcing early. He was waiting for some of these things to happen.
And Smith driving on the freshman to Garland and draws the foul to take us to the under 4 media timeout. Virginia Tech up 7 on number 1 Duke. NBA action coming your way tomorrow begins on ABC with Buick Regal NBA Countdown at 2 Eastern, then the Lakers and the Thunder at 2:30. And tomorrow night, Carmelo Anthony, Mari Stoudemire and the Knicks taking on LeBron James, Dwayne Wade and the Heat. A Sunday night game, 8 o'clock Eastern time right here on ESPN. Here's what Carmelo, the former Syracuse star, has done in his first 2 games with the Knicks. Big point totals in both games with a shocking loss to Cleveland a couple of nights ago, or last night rather, for the Knicks. They'll try to get back on the beam in a tough game against Miami tomorrow night.
I'll tell you one thing, there'll be some stars on the floor there. I think the Knicks had to make that move. I know they gave a lot up, but you're going to give a lot up to get a mega superstar. I think you're going to see the building blocks for next year when they add another guy to join those 2, Stoudemire and Anthony.
Very eventful trade deadline week, including Darren Williams going to New Jersey and Gerald Wallace going to Portland.
They better sign Williams, New Jersey.
Smith rattles it home. It's a 5-point game.
So he does a great job getting free. Made my own Rolls-Royce top 5 players in America. And would you believe it? Some of the anti-Duke faction was screaming and yelling and tweeting me all kinds. How could you pick him? You're Dookie Vitale. Are you serious? They're 5 better than that kid? I don't think so.
A lock for first-team All-American.
Lock.
Garland. Little strong on the 3. Seth Greenberg loves the toughness of Garland. He's a Philly kid, as we mentioned. They got a Baltimore guy at Malcolm Delaney. They got some tough customers on this team.
You got those kids from the large cities. Philadelphia kids really hurt Villanova when Syracuse went there.
Mason Plumlee yelling for the ball in the post, not getting it. Now he finally does.
Trying to isolate him down that low box.
Jump hook again.
You can see why he wants the ball.
Yeah.
You can see why he wants the ball. He's becoming a complete post player now.
And he's 6'11". Allen defending him only 6'7". And Seth Greenberg wants to stem the tide with a timeout.
And that was the one thing we talked about earlier this year, was really a dilemma for them getting any kind of post production. He's really sitting in that box strong.
Here's the Nolan Smith basket. He's into double figures now with 10, and this leads us into your first-team All-American, basically your solid goal top 5.
Well, you know, I think these 5 are really earned. I know a lot of quality players out there, but when I looked across America, I felt these 5 were the best. Walker really, he's put Connecticut in a place where a lot of people didn't expect them to be. Nolan Smith, Jimmer Fredette, what can you say? Derek Williams, they had a bad performance today against UCLA, blew them out, and Sullinger's been the best post player. One other guy, I could have made a case, I was battling, should have been Juwan Johnson or Derek Williams.
And there's Smith. You can see one of only 3 players in the country averaging 20 and 5. On the cusp of becoming the only player in ACC history to lead the conference in scoring and assists. And after the injury to Kyrie Irving, he had to take on a much larger role, both as a scorer and as a distributor for this team.
And I'm going to still stay with my pick right now. Jimmer Fredette is the player of the year. I really believe that he has done for BYU is amazing.
25 and 9 assists today in a big win over San Diego State. Allen, nice look. Davila inside, and it rolls off the rim, but count it. A goaltending call, so credit the basket to Davila.
Davila really operating inside. Seth Greenberg a little clapping in the hands. Davila really coming up big tonight. Oh, yeah, without a doubt, you can't touch the ball up there. Only two players have led the league in assists in a season since '73. Bobby Hurley and Greg Paulus. And Nolan right now leads the ACC both in scoring and assists.
Curry dumps it off to Kelly. And Kelly not finding the range tonight. He's a good three-point shooter, but not tonight.
They're struggling from that three. They struggled against St. John's from the three.
Delaney.
And they struggled from Florida State when they lost that game from the three.
Duke is 1 for 9 from three-point range, and Malcolm Delaney still has just 2 points tonight for Virginia Tech. Smith the drive. Nicely done.
You know what? He protects the basketball so well as he goes to the goal. He may not have blinding speed, but he's got a terrific first step, and he knows how to seal off the defense with his body.
We near the final minute of the first half. Virginia Tech has led almost throughout.
Bob Knight for years used to go to clinics to listen to him talk about catch the ball, triple threat position, use the shot fake.
Offensive foul, Jeff Allen. Just his first. So Seth Greenberg's got to be relieved that his team has avoided foul trouble with such a limited bench. Eric Green has 2 fouls, and that's why Green's coming out right now with less than a minute to go as Manny Atkins, a sophomore out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, takes his place.
I'll tell you one thing, psychologically, if Virginia Tech played as well as they have, leading most of the half, you don't want to go in down at halftime, psychologically.
I think the shot clock did not start as they inbounded the ball, so they're going to do it over again.
You know, it's amazing. Duke has not turned the ball over yet. Duke has not turned the ball over. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And only 3 for the Hokies.
I'm shocked by that. I did not realize that. 0 turnover.
That's why we got Marty here. Smith, no. Duke is going quickly, maybe playing for 2 for 1. They give it back to the Hokies. Delaney forces it up and draws the foul.
Terrific free throw shooter. He is really plus on that free throw line.
87%. Coming up next, the UPS halftime report. The whole gang is here. Reese Davis, Hubert Davis, Jay Billis, Digger Phelps, and Bob Knight. Jimmer does it again as BYU comes up with a big win. 2 top 5 teams lose today, and St. John's another big win as they win on the road at Villanova. You can see Jay and Hubert getting ready to go from courtside here in Blacksburg.
You know, the 2 losses, as you look at our guys, the 2 losses, 16 for 61 shooting threes against Florida State and St. John's.
What are they tonight? 1 for 9, we said, as Delaney knocks down a pair. Just 4 points for the star guard, but Virginia Tech up by 5.
Crowd appreciating their effort here. Now they're sitting in that 2-3 zone. They're standing, baby. They appreciate it. They're going to go in halftime with the lead. The question is, will they go in at the end of the game with the lead?
And Duke will run the clock down. About an 8-second difference. Thornton at the point.
What's the chances that the shot's going to be taken by Nolan or Sigmund? Oh.
It'll be Dawkins, and he hits the 3.
What a big 3. I give you a little momentum going in.
Good find by Smith. Time remaining for Virginia Tech. They want to take it out of Delaney's hands. And he tried to dribble through too much traffic as Plumlee almost hit a 60-footer that would have counted. A good first half here in Blacksburg, and Virginia Tech up by 2 on the #1 team in the nation. The Duke Blue Devils, a dozen for Nolan Smith, a quiet first half for Malcolm Delaney, but the likes of Allen, Davila, and Green picking up the slack for Virginia Tech. We're at halftime here in Blacksburg. The UPS halftime report is on the way.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Papa John's. Try our new hearty Italian meats pizza for just $11. And T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. Welcome to the UPS Halftime Report.
Would you thought Malcolm Delaney could only have 4 points at halftime and Virginia Tech would have the lead? That's because Eric Green has been strong. He's in double figures with 10. Virginia Tech on top of #1 Duke, 33-31. Glad to have you with us here in Blacksburg. Reese Davis, Hubert Davis, Digger Phelps, Bob Knight, and Jay Billis. The coaches, you watched the first half. How do you think the Hokies were able to be effective on defense?
Well, I think that Duke helped them a little bit. They went 1 for 8 on threes, and they shot some quick threes, 1 or 2 passes, and shot a 3. But basically, I thought their defense on top was good. Now, Duke was able to penetrate it a little bit. Smith got inside a little bit on him, but the zone helped them defensively on the perimeter as well, I think.
I like the way that Jeff Allen for Virginia Tech is playing on both ends of the floor. The one thing for him is sometimes when he hits too many jump shots, he has a tendency to stay out on the perimeter. His best move is catching that ball 1 or 2 steps outside the lane, facing up, knocking down that 10-foot jump shot. He's a good passer, and then putting the ball on the floor and attacking the rim.
You know, Virginia Tech's in this position. Malcolm Delaney got 1 bucket, and it was off that out-of-bounds play Duke ran when everybody was flat. He got a run out. Other than that, Nolan Smith shut him off. I thought what Virginia Tech did really well defensively. Terrell Bell did a nice job, I thought, on Kyle Singler, making him work for everything. Stayed with him off of every screen, and they mixed in man and zone. Started out in man, and then about the 9-minute mark, switched to zone for about 6 or 7 minutes, then went back to man. I thought their defense was really solid the first half, Digger.
And smart with shot selection. They shoot 52% in that first half. And when you look at Duke, shooting those threes, like Bob said, 1 for 8. That wasn't their game plan. But I thought at the end when they had the big lead, like 5 points, and then Delaney took that 3, which he didn't need if he took time and score. The patience is going to be important to win this game at the end. You can't rush shots. You got to work deuce. Make Duke play you one-on-one by taking time off the clock and then drive on them.
This time of year, tough to go on the road. No matter how highly you're ranked, Duke's in a fight against Virginia Tech, and Texas found itself in a mess against Colorado that it probably didn't expect to. At one point, Texas had a 22-point lead. Levi Knutson hit a couple of threes.
Well, he had 21 points. Colorado got way too many wide-open shots from the catch spot.
Andre Robertson with a little finish, and Colorado had to hang on late, but they came back from 22 down, stormed the court, maybe storming their way toward the bubble after knocking off number 5 Texas. Game of the day, BYU and San Diego State, both in the top 7. Jimmer Fredette on the drive, Coach.
Well, we saw a lot more from Fredette than just the scoring that we've read about and seen over the season. There were 9 assist passes that he made in this ball game. Plus, he's a great leader on the floor for him.
80-67, BYU sweeps San Diego State, 25-9 for Jimmer. Gators and Wildcats, Billy Donovan's team trying to wrap up the SEC East, still in the overall SEC race. Here's Brandon Knight.
Well, Brandon Knight has played terrific basketball, not just scoring, but I love his ability to pass the basketball and take care of it. In this game, he had 6 assists, but he had 0 turnovers at the point guard position.
Freshman Terrence Jones and the veteran Darius Miller had a career-high 24, 76-68. Wildcats win it. Win number 500 for John Calipari. St. John's and Villanova. St. John's beat a top 25 team on the road this time. Malik Wayne's got him back in it. Nova got within 1, but St. John's had an answer every time.
Yeah, every answer came to Dwight Hart. He ends up with 34 points at the end of the game. St. John's scores 16 of the last 20 points in the game.
DJ Kennedy helping out too as the Red Storm win it by 13.
This halftime report is delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. Welcome back to the UPS Halftime Report.
Sunday night, ESPN is your home for an Eastern Conference star-studded showdown as the retooled Knicks step into the spotlight. The buzz is back in the Big Apple, and now newly acquired Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire take on LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and the Miami Heat. Knicks Heat, a Sunday night statement game at 8 on ESPN.
Arizona and UCLA, Bruins up 11. Josh Smith and then an out-burger around 3:05 or so. Finds Reeves Nelson 27 and 16. You see Big Josh drop it on Reeves. 27 and 16. Reeves in 2 games against Arizona, 51 points. Bruins up big and they would pull away. And how about this? John Wooden's great-grandson, Tyler Trapani, getting the late bucket, 71-49. Of course, Paulie headed for renovation soon. And the Bruins and Wildcats are tied atop the Pac-10, 12-4, as Arizona loses to both Southern California schools on the trip this weekend. Second half not far away. Duke and Virginia Tech, Devils down 2. What do you expect to see from Duke in the second half?
Well, I think their big guys did a good job of protecting the rim defensively in the first half, but Duke allowed too many runouts. You know, Virginia Tech shot 50% in that first half in large measure because they got 8 points in transition just off quick runouts. I think if Duke takes those away, they'll be in pretty good shape. But Virginia Tech played awfully well.
I thought Malcolm Delaney, you know, he goes 1 for 4 points. You're happy. You're up 2 at halftime. The most important thing is they didn't turn the ball over. Over 4 turnovers in that first half. Delaney takes this game over in the second half by playing smart, getting points in the paint. Their defense is fine. If Duke's missing those threes, they can pull off, knocking off number 1.
I know this is little, but Mason Plumlee had a really nice right-hand jump hook down low in the lane the latter part of the first half. Give them the ball more. When you look at Duke offensively, I think they're 2 perimeter. Give them the ball. Maybe you can establish a post. Now you have that outside game as well as that inside game. Give the big guy the ball, Coach.
Well, Hubert, I agree completely with you because they were very quick in shooting threes. They took 8, and I'd say they took 4 of them with just 1 or 2 passes. Plumlee will be very tough inside, and even use Singler in a little screening game inside is going to be very effective for Duke in the second half.
Listen to Hubert. He's retired. Now he wants to throw it inside.
If he establishes the post, he'll throw it back out to me. Yeah.
And now get Malcolm Delaney going. As Digger said, only 1 field goal. Kyle Singler and the Devils will try to have the answer. Second half is coming up from Cassell Coliseum. Can they knock off number 1 for Seth Greenberg again?
This halftime report is delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
And welcome back to Saturday Prime Time, presented by DirecTV. All a part of Judgment Week, presented by the movie Battle Los Angeles. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale here at Cassell Coliseum in Blacksburg, Virginia, the home of the Hokies. And what an entertaining first half between Virginia Tech looking for that big-time, attention-drawing signature win. And the number 1 team in the nation, the Duke Blue Devils. The Hokies have a 2-point lead. Dan Shulman, Dick Vitale. You can look at this 2 ways. Hey, Malcolm Delaney hardly scored, and Virginia Tech's leading, or Duke's not going to miss that many threes in the second half.
Well, you know, right now, when you look at the execution, it's been Davila Green, and certainly you look at the play of Allen, it's been superb. On the other side, you look at Duke, they got to get a little bit more balance other than Nolan Smith. Nolan was terrific. If there's going to be an upset here, I don't believe it can happen unless Delaney gets going. Even though they were able to be +2 in that first half, without him in the second half, if they shut him down, Duke leaves here with the W.
Duke didn't turn the ball over at all in the first half. Virginia Tech's bench, not much of a factor at all. They're not very deep. 3 reserves each played 2 minutes in the first half. That is it. Plumlee had some nice moments in the first half. Dumps it back to Singler. Plenty of time. Now Smith.
Plumlee's done a good job down in that low box. The little screen up on top.
Kelly. Plumlee. And Singler, again, is just the man in the right spot at the right time.
That's been his whole career. He's always in the right place at the right time. That's why the guy's a winner. That's why he was MVP in the NCAA championship game.
Duke has tied the game at 33. They led briefly in the first half. Delaney, high-arcing jumper.
They need that J, baby. They need him to start raining some threes like Del Curry used to do here in the mid-'80s.
Delaney is explosive, can go off for 30 at any time. Just 6 so far tonight, averages 19.
23.5 the last 4 games.
Kelly cold in the first half, misses his first attempt here in the second.
I think the first 4 minutes of halftime are vital to Virginia Tech.
Bell from the corner.
Gotta make shots, and they've been doing that. They shot better than 50% in the first half, something that teams have not been able to do against Duke. Oh, they're on fire here. The Hokie fans, they feel it. They feel it in a bone. Could this be upset city?
Singler driving. Good help by Allen, but Singler draws the foul on Terrell Bell.
You know, as you said earlier in the game, he does a great job of drawing contact and going to that foul line. Take a look at Malcolm Delaney. He's going to shoot a high-rising jumper. And then Green, nice ball reversal, gets the ball in the corner. That was Bell with that shot there. It was Bell.
The assist from Delaney. Now Singler back to the free throw line again. Mike Krzyzewski at shoot-around today took some time to say, look at the numbers this guy's putting up. Look at the names that he is now in with. Scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, wins. 119 wins in his career. And Mike Krzyzewski feels Singler should go down as one of the all-time great Duke Blue Devils.
I think he's one of the real outstanding college players throughout his career as well. You saw the intensity of Mike Krzyzewski on the sideline. I guess that's why you have 894 wins. It's all about the moment. It's all about now.
Tough shot. Green fouled and it counts.
Wow. Wow. Dave Green having some kind of night. There he is right there. Shoots the jumper, gets fouled on a play as well.
And it has not been the night so far that Seth Curry was hoping for. 0 points, 3 fouls, with his dad, the former Virginia Tech star, in attendance, rooting him on here tonight.
And his dad's jersey hanging in the rafters, number 30. He wears number 30. His brother wears number 30 as well.
There's Dell, number 2 all-time scorer in Virginia Tech history, behind only Bimbo Coles. Smith. Tough shot again, and the same body control and protecting the ball that you pointed out the first half.
Yeah, he really does an excellent job of that, sealing off the defense. Gets a great first step, and then he attacks the rim. He protects the basketball.
14 for Smith. Delaney, now Bell, now Davila. Allen with the rebound. No basket. Foul before the shot.
Okay, one thing though, Allen gets on that offensive glass. You can see why he's a double-double guy.
And Seth Curry just picked up number 4.
That could be big because Duke doesn't go to that bench. That means Dawkins has to become a real vital player.
Dawkins comes in. Thornton comes in as well as Duke goes smaller. Kelly to the bench.
And 3 guards now, Duke. Okay, good things happen with the ball in Green's hands.
Virginia Tech fans starting to serenade Seth Curry with "Who's Your Daddy?" knowing very well who he is, and that is in the building here tonight. The Hokies getting it done on the offensive glass right now.
Terrific job inside. Oh, they need a knockout punch. You look at that resume. They don't have one. They don't have a big knockout W.
And Smith draws the foul on Eric Green. His third. Right now, Virginia Tech, 18-8, 8-5 in the ACC. They have beaten Florida State. They've beaten Maryland twice. They've beaten Penn State. But what jumps out at you, Dick? 2 losses to Virginia, home and away, to a team that's down near the bottom of the ACC. They've also lost to Georgia Tech. As you said, they could really use a win of this magnitude. And let's not forget, they've still got games coming with BC and Clemson as Dawkins hits a 3 to make it a 2-point game.
You know, that's a big plus when you bring a guy like Dawkins who's capable of going off, knocking down threes. They just would like him to become a little bit more than a one-dimensional player. I really believe they're going to win this game, man. I really do. Any way you check it, you look at that resume, you don't see anything that stands out that makes them better than the people they're competing with.
Allen, good cut by Davila and a foul. And the interior passing of the big guys for the Hokies has been strong all night long. Here's another look at the resume. The only thing I would say is we need to keep in mind it's now 68 instead of 65. 3 more teams are getting in this year than have ever gotten in before, and I think we would all agree the so-called bubble, it's not a strong bubble this year. We're looking at teams competing for spots in the dance, and in some years we'd say these teams wouldn't be close, but there just seems to be a lot of parity or mediocrity around that bubble area.
I think you used a great word, mediocrity. Let's face it, the talent level is certainly getting a little depleted. We've seen the one and done, players leaving early, certainly brought it down a notch.
Virginia Tech leaving some points at the line, just 3 for 8. As one Plumlee takes the place of another, Miles in, makes it out.
I've been one of the great coach, Seth Greenberg, when they lost a heartbreaker to North Carolina semifinals 2 years ago, ACC. He said, hey, people would be certifiably insane if we're not one of the best 65 teams. A lot of insane people because a day later they were left out.
I'll tell you, if they don't get in this year, Seth might go insane because they've been close on a number of occasions. Green.
Nice pass inside by Green.
Miles Plumlee, the rejection. Miles Plumlee has been very active in limited minutes at the defensive end as Singler draws another foul.
Singler doing a great job getting to the free throw line. I'll tell you one thing, Green is really impressive. His number 11 is really impressive. There's the bounce. They want a foul call right there.
Great block.
Great block.
Yeah.
Great block. Long ball. Had good angle, no body control.
Singler back to the line.
His body takes a beating. I'll tell you one thing, he earns that scholarship. He's a big man on campus down there in Durham.
Duke will finish up with a couple of interesting games in the regular season as well. They'll host Clemson Wednesday night on ESPN, senior night for Singler and Smith, and then they'll wrap up the regular season at North Carolina next weekend.
North Carolina getting better and better. We've seen them progress. Harrison Barnes has become the player that people thought he'd be.
And John Henson taking off as well. Foul on Miles Plumlee.
I love Marshall. I love Marshall.
Timeout on the floor. 1-point lead for Seth Greenberg's Hokies. Number 1 Duke in a real battle here, but Virginia Tech a 1-point lead for the Hokies over the Blue Devils, and there will be some movement in the rankings in the top 10 come Monday when the new poll comes out. Because earlier today, number 4 San Diego State lost at home to number 7 BYU. Jimmer Fredette 25 and 9 assists. Number 5 Texas was up 22 in the first half. And then Alec Burks and Colorado stormed back the Buffaloes win. Also Arizona blown out today by UCLA. The Bruins are playing very well right now.
Yeah, Ben Holland's got them really charged up. Playing outstanding basketball. So is Southern Cal playing better basketball.
Bell in and out. And here comes Nolan Smith. Duke looking for the lead. The lob. Miles Plumlee can't finish.
That was a great look. Great vision. Great feel by Nolan Smith. They don't complete the play.
Bell, wide open Green for 3. And the save by Thornton in the corner gives it back to Duke.
Tell you one thing, Thornton's giving him some positive minutes coming off the bench. Made a big 3 earlier. They have 0 turnovers. That's amazing. 0 turnovers. And Virginia Tech only has 4.
Not many fouls, hardly any turnovers. And a 1-point game 5 minutes into the second half here in Blacksburg, Virginia.
They like to use the Plumlees for those ball screens.
Singler frees himself and gives the Blue Devils the lead.
He does a great job creating some space for himself. Wide open there for that 15-foot jumper.
Delaney, meanwhile, still being defended by Smith and still quiet. 6 points on the night.
Smith really focuses defensively. So many great offensive players just concentrate on the offensive end.
Delaney. This is the 3. Davila back up strong, but he can't finish.
Should have jammed that, baby. Should have jammed it. Did a great job getting the offensive rebound to keep the ball alive. I think the guy that's really played well for me is Bell. I think Bell, they call him the blue guy. I mean, this guy is a great defensive player, long, athletic wing.
So many injuries to this Virginia Tech team this year, so many roles have been changed.
Tech Green might be one of the most improved players in the ACC statistically from last year.
Sophomore this year became a starter in December.
Kip Hudson is really good.
Allen. Quiet so far in the second half after a big first half. And we've got a Duke foul. And you can hear the reaction of the crowd. They feel the calls have been going against them so far here in the second half.
Look at the intensity. Look at that intensity of that coaching staff. Look at that intensity. There's such a passion.
Bell for 3. Allen keeps it alive. Puts it back up. And knocks it down.
What a big-time offensive rebounder. I mean, he's as good as we've seen this year on the offensive glass.
5 of them tonight, and look at these numbers. A double-double already for Jeff Allen, his 8th in his last 9 games.
You know, he reminds me of a typical Pittsburgh player, playing for Pitt and Jamie Dixon.
Smith the drive, and the foul on Delaney.
Number 0, Jeff Allen, man, he hasn't been a 0 tonight. Watch this right now, working on the offensive boards. Keeps the ball alive, and then he shoots the little medium-range jump shot.
Delaney the foul, his 2nd.
We got a good one, Dan. We got a good one.
And it's a game of monumental importance, you would think, to Virginia Tech.
And a lot of people don't believe Duke should be sitting there at number 1. We only got 2 losses, baby.
Mason Plumlee over the top for the finish.
I got a tweet the other day from someone. They said, are you kidding me? Put them in the Big East, they wouldn't finish in the top 5.
Who? Duke.
That's been on the Big East, so it's not a problem. I don't have to think about it. That's off of speculation, radio talk, tweets. Go to the basket. Uses his left hand. There's the offensive rebound by Plumlee. Right here, you're going to start tweeting now.
Yeah, we're going to do that during baseball season. Yep.
Twitter.com.
You got to teach me how.
/Nicky V. Better tweet me.
I better tweet you.
Tweet me, whatever you call it.
Allen, in and out. Singler, the rebound. I tell you, you're texting me, you're tweeting, you're a technological marvel these days.
Facebook. Hey, Singler really working. It's a family affair, my friends.
Smith behind the back, step back jumper. Wow.
Big time. Wow. Big time. That's an All-Americans play right there. Little step back, created the space for the open shot. So many guys have offensive ability, but they can't create space for their shot.
Largest lead of the night for the Blue Devils, who have trailed most of the game. Allen.
They double up on the post.
Delaney got knocked down. Good help by Thornton to knock it away. Boy, Delaney having a frustrating night. He cannot get rid of Nolan Smith. So Green puts it up. Rebound, Singler. Saved by Allen, but he's out of bounds.
You know, one of the problems right now, Virginia Tech, not enough motion and not enough movement and screening for Delaney. He's standing very stationary, and he's very easy to guard.
Said earlier this week, he considers this to be the biggest game of his life. He's never played in the NCAA tournament. He knows a win here would give him a great shot. Game day is here. Sellout crowd, #1 team in the nation. There's a Duke turnover. Green.
Not a good shot in that sequence.
Bell the rebound. Offensive foul, Delaney.
Not a good sequence right there. Delaney with the offensive charge. Says Greenberg not happy.
Little frustration now for the hometown Hokies as the Blue Devils have taken the lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
Back into Blacksburg. Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale, Saturday primetime, presented by DirecTV, ESPN. The home court of college hoops continues on a big Monday, presented by Bud Light with a great doubleheader. First at 7 Eastern, it will be Villanova with a very tough game as they take on Notre Dame. Villanova trying to bounce back from a loss to St. John's today. And Texas also trying to bounce back from that loss to Colorado. They will host Kansas State, a team playing well right now. Big Monday presented by Bud Light.
Kansas State had that big win over Missouri today. Pulling was sensational. Hey, Smith and Singler, 31 of the 48 points. 60% they've shot in the second half. Over the year, Duke has made adjustments at halftime, and they've been a better second half team. Their numbers have gone up. I think they have a little coaching on that sideline.
894 wins worth. They got a battle from Temple until late in the first half, and as Duke often does, right at the end of the first half or beginning of the second half is when they pull away. Singler. And tap back out by Plumlee to Smith.
They do a great job with that. Over the years of getting second opportunities, big people slapping the ball back.
As you said, Zubek did that time and time again in the tournament last year. Smith to Singler, same look, different results.
Can't give him second opportunities, and you can't give him open looks. You got to make him struggle to shoot the ball. He went through a real slump prior to that Temple game.
18 for Singler, as you just saw. Duke's on a 14-3 run, covering the last 6 minutes. Can they get Delaney going?
Van Dunphy of Temple does a great job with that team. Said Duke is so solid defensively.
Davila. Backing down Plumlee. In and out.
They need a deuce in a worse way. They need a stop. Duke is really executing well right now. It's a danger time. It's a danger time for Virginia Tech.
Hokies leading most of the night, but now trailing by 6. Smith. Singler wide open again. And Allen corrals the rebound. Look at Smith.
I'll tell you, Delaney's got to find some open shots. I mean, we're talking about 2,100 points in his career. Talking about a guy that's top of the charts in every way here.
Allen, no. Boy, some decent looks, but nothing dropping for the Hokies.
Got to get some looks for Delaney. Tell you, they can't win without him scoring. Usually gets to the free throw line as well as anybody. Not getting to the line today. Zoning right now.
Singler launches one more time. Misses the three. Delaney the rebound. Virginia Tech looking to run maybe. Delaney going all the way. Yes!
And he gets the bounce to go his way. He has got to assert himself. He has got to take charge and want the ball. If this is the greatest game and the most important game, he's got to make these moments happen. He's only got 9:20 left on the clock.
Timeout on the floor. Malcolm Delaney now with 8. And Virginia Tech needs more of this if they're going to win this game tonight against Duke.
Zubek ready. One more free throw, and then 3.6 seconds left. Hayward with a rebound, 2 seconds. Hayward with 1 second. Half-court heat for 3 is off the rim, and it's over in Indy. Duke is back atop college basketball's elite. They are your national champions.
And as the #1 team in the nation, they've got a pretty good shot to contend for the national championship again, trying to become the first team since the Gators a few years back to win back-to-back national titles. You can see it doesn't happen often.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. The one thing Duke has, why they have an opportunity to win 6 in a row, I don't care what they finish the rest of the year. They got a winner's mentality when it comes to tournament time. And they got a winner's mentality and experience factor with Nolan Smith and Singler. And when you have 2 quality players of that caliber and a coach that's been there on the sideline, you got a great equation and a formula for possibly winning. There aren't many teams, Dan, that can win 6 in a row.
And foul away from the ball.
Singler strong second half, 11 points, 5 rebounds in the second half.
Jarrell Eddy picks up the foul, number 31 for Virginia Tech, coming off a 17-point game. That's the best game that the freshman out of Charlotte has had. Did that against Wake Forest during the week as Dawkins comes back into the game for the Blue Devils.
I think Eddie's going to be a very good player. In fact, he didn't miss a shot in that game against
6 for
Wake
6.
Forest. Yeah, 6 for 6.
Added 9 rebounds as well. Maybe a spark off the bench is what Seth Greenberg's looking for right now.
Well, right now they rotate back in that 2-3 zone. Put a ball screen against the zone up on top. Their big people like to set that screen.
Nolan Smith misses the bank shot. Rebound by Eddy. And here comes Green.
Green's got to get Delaney the ball. Delaney's got to go one-on-one, isolate him. He's too talented. He's just standing. Very easy to guard. He's stationary, not moving without the ball. Somebody can lay some screens for him. So he's just standing. It's very easy for Nolan Smith to guard him. Just standing next to him.
Hasn't gotten a touch.
Not going to get a touch standing watching the play.
Allen. Follow no by Eddy, but a foul. What a great active play. I think it was Davila, making that happen. And let's visually show what you were talking about. Malcolm Delaney, just a non-factor in the offense.
Right here. That's very easy. See, stationary, very easy. But he stands here. Very easy. No screens at all. Nolan says, hey, he's easy to guard. Look at this. He's going nowhere. I'm standing right with him.
Davila misses the free throw badly, where Virginia Tech continues to struggle. Davila just 49% on the season, and Seth Greenberg cannot even bear to watch.
Tough to come from behind and tough to be the #1 team in America unless you take advantage of every facet, and the free throw line is big.
Davila has missed 5 of his 6 free throws tonight.
That's not a formula for a W.
3 times in program history, the Hokies have knocked off the #1 team in the nation. 3 and 7 all time. Singler, the shot fake, the 3, and the rebound by Allen.
Singler utilized the shot fake better than anybody in America.
Delaney, and an air ball, and the frustration of becoming visible on the face of the star senior, who is not having the night he wants to have. Seth Greenberg trying to pump him up. He needs his star down the stretch, Dickie V, if they're going to win this game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. And in part by Sunkist Soda. Help coin Dickie V's next catchphrase for a chance to win $10,000. Log on to ESPN.com/phrase-the-pays to enter.
And welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia. This is known as the Reading Room, a beautiful room kind of on an overpass over a roadway between two academic buildings. Doesn't that look like a nice place to come get a college education?
Wow, yeah, go in there and study, sit down, have those books. Wow.
Saturday prime time presented by DirecTV. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale. Duke up by 4 on Virginia Tech. Less than 8 minutes to go here in the second half.
Tell you one thing, they've done it with their defense, because in the first half, Virginia Tech shot 50%. Second half, 29%. They've shut them down big time.
Just 6 for 21. Singler and Smith have combined for 34 of the 51 Duke points. And those numbers just keep going up. Singler now 8 for 9 from the line. He's the only Blue Devil who's gone to the free throw line tonight.
That's amazing. But the free throw line with him 8 for 9, that's the difference in the game with what Davila has shot.
And Virginia Tech as a team, just 4 for 11. So Duke 9 for 10, Virginia Tech 4 for 11.
Singler 9 for 10.
Yeah.
Singler University.
13 points in the half, 20 on the night for Singler, who got a hand on that pass.
Tell you what's amazing, Seth Greenberg's kids, last 4 years, you ready for this? You don't look at NCAA tournament berths. He's had one since he's been here. But in the last 4 years, they are only behind North Carolina, Duke, and Maryland in total wins in the ACC. 36 wins.
They've always been good. They just haven't been quite good enough to get into the NCAA tournament. Right now, obviously, Duke's a lock, Carolina's a lock, Florida State looks in very good shape, but then you're looking at Virginia Tech, Maryland, BC, Clemson. Not all those teams are going to get in. Time now for the big picture around today's college basketball action. Brought to you by Sony. BYU beat San Diego State for the second time this year. Fredette, 25 points, 9 assists, as number 7 wins on the road at number 4. The Buffaloes come back from 22 down to shock number 5, Texas. Big Monday, Texas, K-State, 9 Eastern here on ESPN. And then St. John's, Steve Lavin, our buddy, does it again. Another huge win over another highly ranked team, this one on the road. Dwight Hardy playing as well as anybody in the country.
Oh, Dwight Hardy's on fire. He's playing absolutely sensational. And they're going to go up and up in that ranking. When you look at their quality wins, it's unbelievable.
Allen from the corner. Well, you and I have a nice week coming up. Tuesday night, we're going to be in Gainesville on ESPNU. We'll see Alabama against Florida, and the winner will likely win the outright regular season title in the SEC. And then Wednesday night, quick trip to Tallahassee as the Seminoles host North Carolina.
Yep, North Carolina going down to play in Tallahassee, playing without Chris Singleton. Had a big win today. Yep. They were impressive.
Beat Miami.
It's a big win because you're playing without your star in Singleton.
Florida State, that is their 20th win of the season. 20-8, now 10-4 in the ACC.
Show some patience right here against that zone.
Travel on Singler.
Yeah. Haven't seen too many turnovers out of Duke tonight.
Tell you what, Thursday afternoon, want to come to Orlando, see a little baseball with me?
Get me in the booth with your guy, Mr. Valentine. I might get an autograph. You never know, huh? Yeah. Mr. Hershiser? Yeah. I'm going to get his autograph.
It's time for baseball. Got a spring training game Thursday afternoon, the Braves and the Tigers.
I'm going to go down and see my Orioles.
Delaney.
Not even close.
0 for 5 from three-point range.
Not even close. Look at Dawkins playing him right now. He's not a defensively strong player. See, right now, he should get an isolation.
Green, the kick to Allen. And a 3 for Jeff Allen. His second of the game, just his 5th on the season.
Yeah, he's not a guy you're looking to shoot the three. Will I give him a little momentum? A little lift here? I could go down the last 6 minutes.
Boy, they're having to improvise to find ways to score, aren't they?
I'm just amazed how stationary that Delaney is on the perimeter without moving without the ball. Going to watch right now a little kick out. He's going to find Allen in the corner. Green does a great job of distributing the rock. There's Allen. He's excited. His 5th triple of the year.
Well, Jeff Allen with a big night, 14 points and 13 rebounds. But Malcolm Delaney, as we've talked about, he has not had the kind of night that he had hoped for and that we all feel Virginia Tech needs if they're going to win this game tonight.
Such a talented player. He's had a terrific career. An incredible career. 2,100 points. All-time leader in free throw percentage, 84.9. Not getting to the free throw line either today. He's 2nd in career assists at Virginia Tech. A strong defender, hates to lose. And tonight, it has been a struggle.
2 free throws, 2 layups in transition, and 1 jumper. That's how he's gotten his 8 points.
You know the respect I have for Singler and Nolan Smith is because they're just not one-way players offensively, even though they got a world of offensive talent. Both guys lock it up on the defensive end.
18 and now for Smith to go with Singler's 20, and the lead is back to 5.
That's producing. That's a tandem that's producing. You got a 1-2 punch like that comes out. It's productive. You got a chance to win.
Bell. This is the 3.
We are looking at really a danger moment now for Virginia Tech. Every possession getting bigger and bigger.
Offensive foul, Nolan Smith.
It was a good call. It was a good call. It was a charge. He ran him right over. Official standing right there, no doubt. Now let's see if Delaney gets any motion at all.
Playing off the ball for the most part. Green is the point guard, but there have been numerous possessions where Delaney's not even gotten a touch.
Somebody on the screen for him. Give him a screen.
Davila slips the screen. Delaney the kick. Green open for 3. And what a rebound by Bell.
I tell you, Bell very active.
Davila and Bell were both up above the rim there. I think Davila will get credit.
Tell you one thing, Davila went up super strong. So did Bell. That's a big-time offensive rebound. This crowd is dying for them to make big plays.
Smith the drive. Here comes Delaney. They got numbers. Bell.
Great offensive rebound, and then the big 3 by Bell. He rings the bell, baby. He rings the bell. Watch this offensive rebound. Great job. Get a second opportunity, but right down the lane is Davila. Watch Davila comes right down the gun of the defense. That's a big-time offensive rebound, and he knows it. Now going to watch Delaney kick it out to his buddy. Coach K not happy with that. He thought Delaney was pushing up the floor. See, he thought he was pushing.
Remember, the play that preceded everything we just showed you was Delaney taking the charge on Nolan Smith. The momentum started to swing, and the building is nuts right now.
Going wacky here in Blacksburg, baby. Will it be upset city? Will it be the knockout punch? The knockout punch to get into the big dance, because they win this, baby. They are in. You put them in, Mr. Lenardi.
Nolan Smith. Plumlee misses it. Here come the Hokies.
Getting out of transition.
Bell. And a block is the call.
Tell you one thing, Duke should go inside a little bit more to Plumlee down to a low post. He was so effective, not getting 8 touches down in the box.
The foul on Kelly, and Bell to the line for 1 and 1.
Now we get down to free throw shooting, how big it is. Been a struggle all night here for Virginia Tech.
Excuse me, 2-shot foul. 2 shots coming. In the act of shooting is the ruling. So 2 shots coming for Bell. Virginia Tech just 4 for 11 from the free throw line tonight. Dawkins for Thornton. Your glue guy's had a good night, Terrell Bell.
Yeah, he's a glue guy. Shoots about 62% on free throw line. Known for his defensive ability. Makes 2 big free throws. Following up a big 3 he knocked down. Can they pull off the big win? Beat the #1 team in America for the 4th time in the history of Virginia Tech basketball.
Singler. Bell, another rebound.
I tell you, Bell doing a terrific job. Singler with the wide open look. Patience becomes big now. Patience, shot selection, getting the right shot, and then making free throws. They need this guy to make a big play.
Delaney inside. Follow. And finally, Duke ball.
Getting second and third opportunities, though.
Crossover by Smith. Rejected by Bell.
They get him up. Delaney should get this deuce.
Left hand. In and out. Bothered by Singler. He couldn't convert.
Singler did a great job to make him take a tough shot.
Wow.
That was not an easy layup. He went to the left hand. That just really summarizes his night.
8 points on a frustrating night for Delaney. They're in the zone. Singler the drive. Lost it. Delaney knocked down. They play on.
You got to back the ball out. Settle down. Back the ball out.
Delaney looks exhausted. Just exhausted.
He really does.
Yeah, and timeout. Good call by Seth Greenberg.
Kids are playing a lot of minutes, but so are Singler and Nolan Smith as well.
Delaney averages better than 38 minutes per game. Here he is. He saw Singler, switched hands, and couldn't finish.
Yeah, that was a tough play. Singler cut off the right hand. But Greenberg can't believe it. Seth coaching his heart out on that sideline. His brother Brad in the house as well.
Let's take a look back at the last time Virginia Tech beat Duke in this building. It was back in February of 2005. Duke was ranked 7th at the time. Virginia Tech unranked. J.J. Redick nails a 3. Duke went up by 1 with 23 seconds to go. But Xavier Dowdell answered with a 3 of his own. Daniel Ewing with one last chance to win it. Virginia Tech wins. They storm the court here in Blacksburg as the Hokies knock off the Blue Devils. They're up 2, 2:58 to go. They've got a chance to beat #1 here tonight. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun, but got a lot of right now. Basketball still a play, and you don't want a moral victory. You don't want to walk down here and you said Freeman and say, "Oh, we played them tough." You know why? Because the committee isn't going to do anything about that. They need to put the W in the book.
And if they don't win it, they'll be thinking about layups and free throws and some of the opportunities that they've had. The Blue Devils right now, 26-2, have won 7 in a row. And their #1 ranking is on the line right now tonight here in Blacksburg.
And one of the reasons they're +2 right now, they've been doing a dominant job on the offensive boards. And that means you're hustling. When you're getting on the offensive glass, you're playing aggressive basketball.
Davila, Allen, Bell, all of them. Here's Allen backing down Kelly. And
strong
the basket. Yep.
Absolutely. No doubt about that play.
Plumlee got it after it hit the glass. Counted for Allen. And that takes us to immediate timeout with 2:39 to go. The roof's about to come off this place with Virginia Tech now up by 4.
Don't count out the Dukies, though. They're known to make big plays.
Count the basket for Allen. 2:39 to go. What a finish on the way.
Graham Whiteside in the studio. Sports Center right now, once down 22. Colorado roars back with a 58-point second half. They held off 5th-ranked Texas 91-89, endangering the Horns' grip on the top seed in the tournament. And the red-hot Red Storm got 34 from Dwight Hardy as St. John's beat their 6th team ranked 14th or higher. This one in Philly over Nova. Back to Blacksburg.
And back here in Blacksburg, 2:39 to go. Virginia Tech on a 9-0 run right now to take a 4-point lead.
They went to a little half-court trap, double up on a perimeter.
Plumlee to the cutting Singler for the lay-in.
Nice pass by Plumlee. Good movement without the ball by Singler for the layup.
22 for Singler. He and Smith with 40 of Duke's 57.
Tell you one thing, terrific job by Virginia Tech on the glass. Out-rebounded Duke 40-32 and beating them up on the glass offensively on the rebounds 15-6.
Seth Curry back in for Duke. Scoreless, 4 fouls. Green. Delaney.
Oh, how big is that one? How sweet is that one? Malcolm Delaney been waiting. They got 5 guys in double figures now. Look at Seth Greenberg. He's playing defense. He's playing defense down there.
Dawkins tries to answer, but can't. Singler with the offensive rebound. Under 2 to go. 5-point lead and the ball.
Patience. You said Delaney had to make a big play, and he responded.
Oh, a steal by Mason Plumlee. What a big play for Duke.
They should go inside to Plumlee a little bit more.
If Duke fouls, it would be the 10th. 2 free throws for Virginia Tech. And keep in mind, Delaney is an exceptional free throw shooter.
I mean, get the ball in Delaney's hands.
Without question.
Down the stretch, put it in his hand. He's a fantastic free throw shooter.
Green. Still got 16 on the shot clock. No need to rush. Under a minute to go. Now Delaney.
Got to milk that clock. Spread the court for him. Try to get him to the free throw line. Lay a screen. There it is.
And he lost it. It was deflected. So it stays with Virginia Tech. 3 on the shot clock, or 4 is what it shows here in the arena. 4 on the shot clock officially with 47 seconds to go in regulation. Got to get a shot up. Green. The rebound to Smith. Duke can tie it with a 3.
And the one thing with Duke now, they'll take advantage of that big 2. Smith and Singler.
Singler to tie.
Big rebound right there by Green. He's been superb all night. Oh, Green has been superb. They're ready to rock and roll. They say selection committee, get ready to pencil us in, baby. Pencil us in.
Green is a sophomore. He's an 80% free throw shooter. About ready, you would think, to take the 2 biggest free throws of his life.
Certainly in his career. I'll tell you right now, the free throw line's so big. It's been a nightmare most of this game for Virginia Tech. That big 3 by Delaney was a must.
Deep breath by Green.
Thinking too much, man. Thinking too much. Look at the intensity.
Green is 1 for 4. Virginia Tech 6 for 14.
30 seconds, a lot of time on that clock, especially when you got 3-point shooters like Duke has. You better lock up on that perimeter. How big were those 2? And right now, you better lock up.
They've given Duke life, and now a foul on Green. Virginia Tech wanted a carry on Smith.
He fouled before the carry took place.
1 and 1 coming for Smith. 8th team foul on the Hokies, and Seth Greenberg says, box out.
See how big this turnaround can be. You got one guy goes down the other end. He misses 2 free throws, and now you got one of the premier players in America. And you really, I doubt very much he won't miss him.
Boy, I don't know about you. It felt this close to being over a few seconds ago, but those 2 missed free throws.
And you can't give Duke life. When you got an opportunity to put him away, you better put him away. Oh, he does miss it.
Plumlee the rebound and a foul on Allen.
Silly foul right there. Silly foul. Stops the clock.
Now Plumlee is not a good free throw shooter, to say the least. 41% on the season, 1 and 1 for him. 9th team foul.
Got to watch for the offensive rebound because, like you said, he is not a good free throw shooter.
4th foul on Allen.
So Virginia Tech better block out on that lane. They've been doing a great job rebounding all night.
How about that? The 80% guy misses 2.
How do you figure it out?
The 83% guy misses the front end, and the 41% guy knocks it down.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable. He's going there saying, nobody expects me to make him. I'm going to shock everybody. You got 1 out of 2. They're going to foul right away.
Allen will get 2 free throws. He's at 65% on the season.
Guys, the coach bananas. You can win a game and put it away and just making free throws.
This building, this crowd is in an absolute frenzy right now, and they have been since that 9-0 run a few minutes ago by Virginia Tech.
Well, the way they started the game as well. They played so well early in the game.
Allen, by the way, 15 rebounds tonight. Now he gets 2 shots. Oh, they're 6 for 16 from the line. They're 72% as a team. They're pretty good free throw shooters, but not tonight.
6 for 16, but more importantly, they missed the last 3 in a row. Could have put this game away. Could have tucked it away.
Still a 1-possession game, and they don't need a 3. They can go for the quick 2.
They'll take what's available. If the 3's there, they'll take it. You gotta lock up. Don't let them even get a look at the 3.
Good D by Delaney, and Nolan Smith will use a timeout. About 10 seconds came off the clock there.
Good timeout, Joe, by Nolan. Good timeout.
Well, there has been one other occasion when Virginia Tech played Duke when Duke was number 1. It was at Cameron. It was in 2005. The Hokies led with a 1.5 seconds to go. Sean Dockery hit about a 45-footer to spoil the upset bid of the Hokies. Virginia Tech 3-7 all time against number 1. Duke lost as a number 1 team in Tallahassee, a game you and I did on the 12th of January. You were up in Madison when Wisconsin beat Ohio State a couple of weeks ago, and then Kansas didn't last long at number 1, losing in Manhattan. Will the Blue Devils survive tonight and hang on to their number 1 ranking?
Well, the basic fact is very simple. There isn't a dominant team in college basketball. A lot of good quality teams, but not a dominant team that's clearly head and shoulders better than most. Place is going wacky. It's going wacky. But they better play right now some tough defense if they want this W and the importance of the game. Remember this. They've been shut out of the NCAA tournament even last year, 10-6. Bottom line is they got to find a way. The last year they were 9-7 was 10-6 2 years ago.
Atkins in for Davila for Virginia Tech. He's covering Dawkins. Keep an eye on Dawkins. Lots of shooters out there for Duke.
I want to make sure they match up on Dawkins.
Curry has not scored tonight. He might have to put it up, but he lost it.
Oh, he lost the ball.
And Allen almost celebrated too early there because Curry could have poked it away. But it is a foul, and there are 2 free throws coming.
What a tough night it's been for Curry. Oh, it's been a tough night.
Just fouled out. Hardly played, didn't score. Dad in the house, his dad's alma mater, and just a terribly disappointing night for Seth Curry.
I think he was too emotional for the game. I think he came here, really wanted to do so well. His dad was such a star here. He wanted to play here. The moment belongs to Virginia Tech. Let the celebration begin, my friends. They are going to be dancing. They are going to be dancing. No doubt they will dance this year. They will dance. And they'll be dancing in Blacksburg tonight.
Virginia Tech have knocked off number 1 Duke 64-60 in a thrilling game tonight here at the Cassell Coliseum. The Hokies have that signature win, don't they? Now 19-8, 9-5 in the conference as they beat number 1. Duke falls to 26-3, 12-2 in ACC play. And they did it without a huge night from Malcolm Delaney, 5 in double figures. They just worked and worked and worked, Jake, and they're full value for this win.
Yeah, they really did. They did a great job defensively. They did a tremendous job on the offensive glass. They rebounded so well.
And Seth Greenberg, the head coach, making his way over to the table now, putting on a headset. I don't know, can you hear us, Coach? We can hear. We got to get Seth's mic turned on. He's on. How does this feel?
I'm just really proud of our guys. I mean, we competed so hard. We came up with some 50-50 balls. When things went south, I just asked them to continue to play hard, try to get the ball inside of Jeff. Jeff had a monster game. And we just competed. I thought our defense was terrific. Changing back and forth, get them a little bit off balance. We got a couple stops in the 2-3 zone, but couldn't score. When we got in transition, obviously we were pretty good.
I thought that your offensive rebounding was dominant. I know you got a little nervous during those missed free throws, but you know what? Go get your dancing shoes, because it's locked. You're in. There is no way in the world they can deny you now, my friend.
I don't know. We have 2 more games. We got another home game on Tuesday where we can get a chance to honor our seniors who've given us so much. This is just the next step. I'm proud. I'm so happy for these kids. I mean, they've given us everything, and it's a great chance to enjoy it.
And Malcolm didn't have the kind of night he would have loved, but Bell and Davila and Allen, I mean, you talk about a team effort tonight.
We've grown as a team. Yeah. We've grown, we talked before the game about trust and the journey and believing in each other, and that's what this team is all about. We've never made excuses. We've just tried to compete as hard as we could each and every day and get better, and these kids deserve this.
I tell you, Green and Bell really played well. Oh,
how about your 3 daughters? These are your 3 daughters right here.
Yes, sir. The daughters are all here with tears flowing. Jubilation.
I tell you what, Terrell Bell made a huge 3 in the corner. He was so active, and he did a great job of staying down on Singler's shot fakes. I mean, he was so disciplined. He'd stay down and keep in front and contest him. I thought at the end of the game, Nolan's such a great play. At the end of the game, we did a better job of keeping him in front. And, hey, this is what you live for if you play college basketball.
Go celebrate with your family.
Celebrate with your family.
Congratulations, Coach.
I know one thing, Coach. Your daughters took after your wife.
What a moment, what a scene.
College basketball.
These are his 3 daughters right here. In the middle is Ella, who's a cheerleader here at Virginia Tech. What a moment for Seth Greenberg and for the Hokie program. And Malcolm Delaney, again, did not have the kind of night he would have loved to have had in terms of putting up the points. But how big was that 3 right there?
That was a monster 3, no doubt. The star came through at the right moment with a big, big 3. I'll tell you one thing. What you're witnessing is the passion and love for college basketball. That's why March Madness will be the best 3 weeks of them all in sports. There's nothing for a period of time. Look at right here, the jubilation, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the adrenaline. It is special, my friends. College hoops. I've been very blessed to be able to be here for 32 years and working with a guy like you.
It was a lot of fun tonight. Great job tonight, and by everybody on our crew tonight. Sensational work bringing you this game. Virginia Tech, unranked, double team, needing a signature win. They beat number 1 Duke 64-60 as Seth Greenberg and the Hokie family, they continue to celebrate. Jeff Allen, Terrell Bell, Victor Davila, Eric Green, Malcolm Delaney. They earned it here tonight, and you say lock. They are in the tournament right now.
How could you not put them in the tournament? Beat the number 1 team in the country, have a winning record in one of the BCS conferences. Come on now, beating a Duke like they did, a number 1 team in America. That's like beating 5 ranked teams, okay? 5 ranked teams. I'm saying they are dancing. The VBDI, the Vital Ball Dome Index, not the RPI, the VBDI says in for Virginia Tech. Joe Lenardi, put him in, baby.
And we'll have a new number 1 again on Monday. Number 1 loses again for the 3rd time in 4 weeks. And there's Del Curry. He's torn, right? I mean, his son didn't have a good game, and they lost, but the alma mater won. I mean, tough night for Del Curry, tough night for Seth Curry. Malcolm Delaney and the Hokies continue to celebrate. He said it was the biggest game of his life going in.
That was the biggest shot he made in his
So
life.
that would be the biggest shot of his life.
Shot.
You're right.
I want to say hello to these guys.
Right.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you guys doing, all right? How you doing, all right? Whoa, look at all these. Yeah, it's going nuts here now. Going nuts. They're going crazy here. What a night.
What a
College
scene.
hoops. College hoops.
What a scene. Game day will be coming back live very shortly from court level. I can see Hubert and Jay. They're braver than we are to be out there. At least we've got a table separating us from the scene going on out on the court. Virginia Tech now 9-5, 19-8. Duke drops to 12-2. Carolina, remember, they're going to play Duke. The ACC regular season championship is still up for grabs.
That's a good point. That's a good point right now, because if Carolina beats Florida State, that's a big game, because if they win that game, they get a chance to play Duke.
A lot more to come from Blacksburg. For Dick Vitale and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying so long, and hope you enjoyed this one as much as we did. What a scene here tonight as the Hokies take out the Blue Devils.
Improbable upset win over the Longhorns today.
This is SportsCenter.
Taken by storm, the Buffalo shocked the Horns in Boulder and just call them showstoppers. Jimmer and company pull off a season sweep. Slipping and falling, the College Game Day guys are concerned which tough luck loser is in the most trouble. Plus,
what I did in the past is in the past.
You know, I don't like to discuss that business. You know, that's the club's business and my business.
I'm not going to entertain anything that happened in my past.
Combine quarterbacks in the firing line. Cam Newton and Ryan Mallett avoid big hits. Front and center with at least one smooth operator. Plus, Boston's Big Four goes head-to-head against the Fighting Blake Griffins. And Melo prepares for the heat. You get it next.
What a huge dunk.
Hey there, welcome to SportsCenter. Kevin Nagani with John Anderson. We'll get back out to Blacksburg and maybe College Game Day whenever the kids decide the party's over on the court. Another crazy Saturday, another #1 goes down.
Yeah, a lot of folks out there. Let's start with the highlight when there were only 10 players and 3 refs. That was a little less congested. You can see what's going on. #1 Duke visiting the folks in Blacksburg, the perpetual bubble team, Virginia Tech. Coach, what do you got for us?
Get to the next play. Get to the next play. You got 10 4-minute games. 10 4-minute games for memory of a lifetime. Let's go get it.
That's right, memory of a lifetime. All right, next play, here we go. Vatek, Victor Davila, a nice pass to Eric Green for the basket and the foul. Vatek up 5, but next play, later in the first, we're tied at 11, still early. Green in transition, gets the hoop and the foul. Members bounce well down there. Next play, 6 minutes left in the first. Hokies pushing the ball up. Terrell Bell, nice pass. Green with the lay-in again. He is good around the rim. Look at here, Malcolm Delaney with the pass ahead. Bell, good awareness. Green in the follow. He's got it. Vatek up 5. Next play, Seth Curry. Tough day for him, right? His dad, Del Curry, legend. First player in Virginia Tech history to have his number retired there. Curry, what are you going to do in front of the old man? Spot up, 3, no. Karam's off. Delaney beats Curry down the floor to the other end. Virginia Tech goes into the half, up a deuce. After intermission, they come out. Curry, 3 fouls. Off a miss. Curry whistled. That's number 4. He's going to be pulled from the game. The kids, you know, they're inventive in Blacksburg. All right, it's not that inventive here. And really, we know who his dad is. They keep showing him. Really, right? So it's a rhetorical question. Actually, kids, get better than that. Nolan Smith finds Kyle Singler for 3. He had 22 in the game. Duke at that point up 6. And Nolan Smith misses the other end. Bell hits the 3. And we are knotted up at 55. We got a game. SportsCenter to follow. Virginia Tech up 2. Jeff Allen just outside the paint. Now you got to get in the paint to get a point in the paint. Oh, I have goaltending on Mason Plumlee. Vatek up 59-55. Hokie high. Tech. What's your RPI? Kicked out. Malcolm Delaney. Good look. Give me 3. Thank you. That's a tight one. 5-point lead. Plumlee with the steal all the way in the other end. Oh, Seth Greenberg cannot believe his guys get that loose with the ball. Take care of it, son. 62-59. Final seconds. Duke down 3. Seth Curry, no. Loses the rock. And the final goes to the kids from Blacksburg, Virginia Tech. Much rejoicing. And there was great joy. There's Seth Greenberg. That guy, the whole world's a porcupine to him this time of year. 64-60 in favor of the Hokies. Virginia Tech's 3rd win over a number 1 team in the coaches poll in the last 5 seasons. That's the most in D1 over that span. Duke falls to 26-3 this season with all 3 losses coming on the road. They are a marked team, that is for sure. This is the 3rd straight week. The number 1 team has lost. Kansas went down last week. Ohio State 2 weeks ago. Now it's the Dukies. We're going back to Blacksburg. Dan Shulman, Nick Vitale. Fellas?
And you know what, John, we're happy to join you again because we're not going anywhere for a while, it appears. The court is still just covered with students. This is a celebration worthy of, going to the Final Four or something, the way they're celebrating right now. But they earned it. All 5 starters, as Seth Greenberg told us, played their tails off. They all scored in double figures. They won the rebounding battle, and they earned this win here tonight.
I tell you, 57-55, and that big 3 by Malcolm Delaney was absolutely a giant. And Allen was sensational. 18 points, 15 rebounds. They dominated Duke on the glass as well. Well, offensively on the glass, they were so big.
Now, late in the second half, Duke was up by 5, but then the tide started to turn. Davila with the follow. Then Delaney hit Bell with a 3 that tied the game. And then Virginia Tech took the lead on this huge shot by Malcolm Delaney, who had struggled to shoot the ball, finished 4 for 15, but knocked down that 3 that actually extended the lead a little bit, and they hung on. Boy, they made it interesting at the free throw line. They missed a lot of free throws, but they did enough on the glass and defensively to win this game.
Well, he said before the game this was the biggest game he would play in his career, and he responded, "Oh, remember that 3, baby. That 3, that trifecta was a monster for Seth Greenberg." Look at his plays. I mean, are you kidding me? You think they're excited here? You think they're all fired up? They beat D-U-K-E, who was number 1. And whenever you beat Duke, and there is Mr. Greenberg with his 3 beautiful daughters who look like his wife.
And great shots, a great scene. And to the credit, everything that we could tell, everything was done very well. I mean, nobody got too carried away. This was just a good old time, a good celebration by people here, and great shots by everybody on our crew bringing you this game tonight and the real feeling and emotion in this building. So they're in. So they're in the tournament, right? Virginia Tech is in, right?
I would think they're a lock, baby. I think they're absolutely a lock. I thought they got a raw deal last year. I thought they got a raw deal 3 years ago. But this one here, I think it's pretty tough to deny them a chance. Unless they totally, absolutely embarrass, humiliate themselves. I don't see that happening.
Talk about a wacky Saturday. 3 of the top 5 teams in the country lost today. Duke, San Diego State, and Texas all losing.
That's because there really aren't dominant teams. There's a lot of parity. We talked about that before the game with Bob Knight, Mike Krzyzewski. We're talking about so many good players. Not great, but good players. Guys, especially on the perimeter. If you find guys, I mean, you take a look here. Green and Bell, I'll bet they weren't big-time McDonald High School All-Americans, but they can play. And they play with a lot of pride, and Davila did a great job, as well as Allen. Delaney, he wasn't Delaney, but he was Delaney in the right moment.
Are your 1 seed still Kansas, Ohio State, Pittsburgh, Duke?
Well, right now, I think you look at that, those 4 have to jump at you. They have to jump in, but Texas will still be in that mix if they could go on now and win. I think it'll come down between Texas and Duke for the 4th one.
See you Tuesday in Gainesville.
Well, be in Gainesville, man. Alabama,
Florida on the
Florida.
U. Looking forward to it. Back to John in the safety of the studio to bring you more Sports Center and a look at some more of the upsets and more ranked teams who lost on this crazy Saturday in college basketball.
Hey, it's the top of the hour, but guess what? Still 15 minutes of Sports Center to come. Check in the number 1 story, the number 1 team. Duke, Virginia Tech, Seth Greenberg. What do you got for the Devils?
Get to the next play. Get to the next play. You got 10 4-minute games. 10 4-minute games. for a memory of a lifetime. Let's go get his win, baby.
Yeah, see, because if you win 10 4-minute games, it looks like you're like a 30-win team or something. First half, we're tied at 11. Eric Green in transition gets the basket, gets the foul. Vatek, all of Blacksburg jacked up for this one. 6 minutes left in the first. Vatek pushing the ball up. Terrell Bell, nice look back, gets it back to Green. See it, Malcolm Delaney ahead. Good awareness there. Green will finish it up. Green had 12, all 5 starters in double figures for the home team. Seth Curry, his father, Del Curry, first player in Virginia Tech history to have his number retired. He was special, and he's watching. Mixed emotions? No, you always root for family, right? Root for the boy. You missed that one there, though. Vatek going the other way. Delaney beats Curry down the floor. Delaney would finish with 11. Vatek up 2 at the half. Curry, 3 fouls here. Picks up number 4. He's headed to the bench. You know what that means? Genealogy lessons. Now I went over that, right? Seth Curry and then Del Curry's his dad. Okay, and his brother plays over there in Golden State, so we're good with that. Family tree, the whole thing. Kyle Singler at 22. Duke up by 6, but the home team not to be denied. Smith misses. Nolan Smith, he had 18, but not there. Bell, 3 of his 12. Got it. Virginia Tech ties it at 55, and now the cheese is very binding. After Virginia Tech took a lead on free throws, Duke down 4. Mason Plumlee finds Singler inside, gets it to go. 2-point game. Other way. Key play here. Delaney for 3. Got it. Virginia Tech up 5. Now you got to play defense and hold on. Mason Plumlee gets the steal. Oh, that is careless on offense. Seth Greenberg can't like that. The flush. Duke within 3. 10 to go. Still a 1-possession game. Curry's got the ball. Now he doesn't. Turns it over. Commits his 5th foul. Let the court storming begin. Seth Greenberg hugging all his girls. Virginia Tech wins at 64-60. Coach K on the defeat of number 1.
I thought we played winning basketball, and we, it was a game they won, and it's like an NCAA game. It was that level. Their crowd was great and really supportive, and I thought obviously that helps them. But we had our opportunities. We had our opportunities to win this game and nail it, and you got to put the ball in the basket.
How's your bracket? How about this? Joey brackets. Joe Lenardi says BYU now at 27-2, projected as a number 1 seed. Duke not on the top line, a number 2 probably. BYU, Ohio State, Pittsburgh, Kansas. Joey brackets number 1s at the moment. Now, please clear the floor if you would in Blacksburg. Reese Davis wishes to speak.
Oh, the humanity, the sea of humanity. And believe it or not, underneath all those bouncing up and down feet, there's a basketball court, which for the 3rd time in the 50-year history of Cassell Coliseum saw Virginia Tech knock off a number 1 team. Now, 3 of the top 5 teams in the country lost Saturday. Give me a top 25 team that lost with the biggest concern.
Well, for me, it's Texas. I mean, I think they're one of the best teams in the country because they can get after it on the defensive end. And last week against Nebraska, today against Colorado, they haven't gotten after it on the defensive end. They've allowed teams to shoot wide-open jump shots. They've allowed teams to put the ball on the floor and take it to the rim. And I think offensively, it can go up and down, but defense has to be consistent. In order for Texas to have a chance to win the Big 12 title, get to a Final Four, and win a national championship, they have to get back to playing great defense, Jay.
For me, it's Arizona. They went to Los Angeles, ranked number 10 in the country. They got beat by USC badly on Thursday. Then they turn around Saturday and get beat badly by UCLA. Didn't even score 50 points against UCLA. Now, I think that Arizona needs to get tougher defensively, and they need to get tougher running their offense. This is a team that can still win the Pac-10 championship. They are good enough. Are they tough enough? That's a key question.
How about a team that improved its seed?
I think it's St. John's. They've won 6 games in a row. Dwight Hardy has a great chance of being Big East Player of the Year at the point guard position. You can shoot from 3, penetrate, get the ball in the middle of the lane, and now this team is shooting the ball well from the 3-point range. 41% from 3-point range over the last 6 games. They play defense. They can score inside and out. Coach Lavin doing a terrific job.
How about UCLA?
Yep.
I mean, UCLA, when we saw them at Arizona a little over a month ago, we questioned their toughness. At least I did. I didn't know how tough they were.
Me too.
And I'll tell you what, they are tough. Ben Helen has done a terrific job with that basketball team. They've improved their seeding. That is an NCAA tournament team. In December, they didn't look like one. They are now.
All right, we're about to wrap up February, headed toward March. March, who's the favorite to win it all? Quickly.
I'm going to stick with Texas. I really like them defensively because good team defense, great individual defenders, their ability to score down low on the paint with Tristan Thompson, Gary Johnson, shoot the ball from the outside, playmakers on the wing like Jordan Hamilton. If they get back to defense, I think this is a team that can win the national championship.
3 weeks ago, I said leave number one open. There's no dominant team. There's nobody that's going to own it. It's going to be a carousel. But right now, I still think Ohio State, because of their experience, because of guys like David Lighty and William Buford on the perimeter, John Diebler, I like Ohio State.
All right, who will be number one in the polls coming up next week? Will be 4 polls, 4 different number ones. This time it's Duke falling against Virginia Tech. See if Kansas returns to the top spot.
There is only one team in the history of the ACC that has won 10 conference games and did not get to go to the NCAA tournament. That's Virginia Tech last year. Colorado's having a great season, 17 wins, most since 05-06. But both of these programs needed a statement win to get off the bubble, or at least get into the discussion to be in the NCAA tournament with Doug Gottlieb, Bram Whiteside. Welcome to college basketball final. And let's start with the top-ranked team in the land. There's Kyle Singler and Duke taking on Seth Greenberg. And Virginia Tech in the Hokies house. First half, game tied at 11. Eric Green in transition, gets the basket and the foul. He's been fantastic.
He has been fantastic, especially since they moved Malcolm Delaney to the 2. They've had all kinds of depth issues. But Green out in transition again with the finish.
Take another look here as Bell with incredible awareness. The back pass highlight of the night. Virginia Tech up early by 5. Late first half. Seth Curry, emotional game for him. His dad was in the crowd, of course, a Virginia Tech star. Misses the 3 here off the miss. Delaney beats Curry down the court. Virginia Tech up 2 at the break.
That's not Curry's fault. That's Nolan Smith's fault. You're the point guard. You have to be back, especially when you got a wing shooting a corner jump shot.
Second half, Duke down by 1. Nolan Smith drives Mason Plumlee, put back dunk. Duke's got a 1-point lead. Later in the half, now up by 3. Here's Nolan Smith, and he finds Kyle Singler. Did not have a good shooting day. Once again, 6 for 19, but Duke was up by 6.
Well, you just had the feeling that Duke was hanging around, but extra shots, extra possessions for Virginia Tech, and Victor Davila with a huge finish.
Offensive rebounds in favor of the Hokies, 15-6 in this game. Nolan Smith, the miss there. Malcolm Delaney dribbles down the court. Terrell Bell, long 3-pointer from the corner, and the Hokies are back, tied at 55. Now up by a bucket. Here comes Jeff Allen in the post. 18 and 15 for Allen. The hook shot goaltended by Mason Plumlee. Vatek up by 4. Ensuing Duke possession. Plumlee, Singler, inside, easy 2, Duke within 2. Ensuing Vatek possession. Malcolm Delaney could not find the bottom until this huge 3 for the Hokies.
He was clearly pressing, but the senior, last year's ACC leading scorer with a massive bucket. But then it almost came apart at the seams as Mason Plumlee, a run through and a dunk. And now all of a sudden, Virginia Tech missing free throws. But Seth Curry with a turnover. This is, without any question, the worst game of his Duke career.
And so Seth Greenberg and company reason to hug some people because guess what? They got a shot at the dance.
I'm just really proud of our guys. I mean, we competed so hard. We came up with some 50-50 balls. When things went south, I just asked them to continue to play hard, try to get the ball inside of Jeff. Jeff had a monster game. And we just compete. I thought our defense was terrific. Changing back and forth, get them a little bit off bounds. We got a couple stops in the 2-3 zone, but couldn't score. But when we got in transition, obviously we were pretty good.
You know what? Go get your dancing shoes. Once it's locked, you're in. There is no way in the world they can deny you now, my friend.
So the Hokies obviously ready to dance by their performance there in Blacksburg tonight. But is Dickie V right in this situation? Are they in? Time to bring in our resident bracketologist, Joe Lenardi. How about the Hokies? Are they in the dance?
Can the committee keep Virginia Tech out of the big dance now? Probably not. But the Hokies could, because the remaining games, Boston College at home, at Clemson, and the ACC tournament opener, are games that might not go the Hokies' way. It's not likely that Virginia Tech will lose all three, but you never know, given their luck on the bubble the last few years. Even so, I like Tech now at about 80% odds to make the NCAA field, and that should make everybody breathe a little easier in Blacksburg.